There we go. How are we doing, everybody? Today we're going to be playing Warhammer 40k Legacy of Dorn, Herald of Oblivion. Long-ass title, and that's not the weirdest thing about this game. This game seems to be a turn-based text adventure RPG set in the 40k universe following the Imperial Fists, where a significant chunk of the game and its storytelling is done through basically reading a book. It is referred to by the developers as a video game book. I shit you not. So I think it's really funny that we took the Legion with the illiterate Primarch Dorn and decided to make a game that involves heavy amounts of reading. I think that's pretty funny, but yeah, it is bizarre. This is a game that I remember existing when I first got into 40k, but has since been removed from Steam, like a lot of 40k games from this era. And yeah, I remember at the time, despite being one of the very few games that was not of interest to me at all, because it seemed to just be a text adventure, it was always sitting at around, it was always sitting at like mostly positive reviews, which is crazy for 40k games at the time, where a majority of them were at mixed reviews. So I was intrigued, but because of its nature as not a fun, cool action game, I tended to not give it as much attention at the time. But now, since I'm going through everything, and I got this handy-dandy list, I kind of have to engage with it, which goes a long way. Hey Ghost, how's it going, man? Hey Papinikek, hey Edgelord, it's good to see you all here. Hello, hello. It's ironic that we spent yesterday talking a lot about Marathon, because today we're going to be reading some fucking terminals. I actually really like this cover of Psychosocial, but alas, it must come to an end. Let's make sure that the game's capturing properly. Creepy. Come on. Oh, yeah, it is capturing, but let's make sure it fits my screen now. Oh yeah, new layout, courtesy of Radiant Blue Wolf. Thank you so much for making this, man. It is an awesome layout. I love it. It's my favorite layout yet, and it's fantastic. I'm really happy with it. It also comes included with Silly Sauce. All right, today, guys, we're gonna play a book. All right. For corn! What is that? Wait, what does that do? Oh! Cool. Get Blood God mode. Oh, right! I should switch my avatar over. Since I am playing a 40k themed game, I might as well switch over to my 40k avatar. There we go. Alrighty, let's go ahead and get started. Play. The Hulk is so vast that the mighty Adeptus Astartes strike cruiser is as a buzzing needlefly to a Grox in comparison. Like some errant planetoid, the warp-spawn conglomeration of ancient wrecks and stellar debris blocks out the starfield for tens of kilometers in every direction. It is an ominous presence that is very loud, even though we're in space and there's no sound. In space, no one can hear your game. Alright, here we go, that's better. Alrighto. Like some errant planetoid, the warp-spawn conglomeration of ancient wrecks and stellar debris blocks out the starfield of tens of kilometers in every direction. It is an ominous presence drifting through the void at the periphery of the Sargon system. A lurking threat with all the menace of a dead-eyed ocean predator. Rightly, it was named Herald of Oblivion by the tallymen of the Ordo Xenos. For who knows what savage orc hordes or genestealer broods lie hidden within its labyrinthine depths, waiting for the derelict to come within range of a fecund imperial star system or a potential prize world. The shadowy masters of the Ordo Xenos have known of the Hulk's existence since it was first encountered by a rogue trader fleet within an outlying system in the Submentum Obscura. But it is only now, not many Earth Standard months shy of 200 years later, that the Herald of Oblivion has been vomited back into the material universe at this time in this place, thanks to the capricious tides of the warp and the fickle schemes of fate. So it was that the Imperial Fist strike cruiser Shield of Dorn, the closest Adeptus Astartes vessel within the 6 weeks warp travel of the Sargon system, was dispatched to assess the threat the Space Hulk posed to the Imperium and act accordingly. Smoke and incense fogged the stale air of the chamber as a gaggle of solemnly chanting tech adepts tend to a horde of arcane mechanisms, under the watchful gaze of Tech Marine Brother Clavis. At a nod from the engine seer manning the controls of the ancient teleportarium, power sword in hand, Sergeant Valerius addressed the Space Marines under his command. "Squad Scipio!" comes the surgeon's voice through your helmet comm. "We have been tasked with cleansing the derelict of any Xenos presence, in preparation for the insertion of the Inquisition search terms, and so now, let us prepare the teleportation. One by one, the Battle Brothers of Squad Scipio..." Okay, here we go. Prepare for teleportation. Okay. Sorry, the punctuation was weird here. One by one, the Battle Brothers of Squad Scipio mount the dais and take their positions within the teleportarium. The first to join Sergeant Valerius is Brother Barathon, carrying the heavy flamer gripped in his hands, as casually as it was nothing more than a las pistol. He is also the bearer of a number of sanctified plasma bombs. After all, none of you really know what you might run into aboard the derelict. Barathon is followed by Brother Kale. The lightning claws he has the honor of taking into battle are treasured relics of your chapter. They crackle with barely contained esoteric energies as he flexes the long blade fingers of the venerated artifacts. Next to take his place is Brother Ortis. He is a temporary addition to the squad, and since he is an apothecary, does not wear the Terminator armor like the rest of you. Are you guys teleporting in, or are you accessing by boarding torpedo? Instead, he bears the sacred tools of the apothecarian, all contained within his narthecium, as well as a chainsword and a bolt pistol. So yeah, like, okay, wait, we're going to the teleportarium. Don't we need to be in Terminator armor for that? Just saying. As the most recently inducted member of Squad Scipio, you are the last to mount the teleportarium dais. Sergeant Valerius turns to the Tech Marine marshalling the servitors and tech adepts, monitoring the enigmatic machine's many controls. "Squad Scipio, ready to teleport," he says, his commanding tone emanating from the external voxcasters in his Terminator armor. "Confirmed," Brother Clavis replies, his voice exhibiting... Okay, confirmed, Brother Clavis replies, his voice exhibiting a motionless, machine-like cadence, while the great servo arm attached to his back twitches nervously. At some unvoiced order that only the tech adepts pick up on, Brother Clavis's minions carry out a sequence of well-rehearsed maneuvers at the archaic controls before them. A deep humming sound fills the air, vibrating the teleportation plate on which you are standing. The vibration travels up through your osmodula, through your osmodula-hardened leg bones, settling in the pit of your stomach. At the same time, tendrils of crackling energy crawl over the emitter array above your head. "Brother Sergeant!" The resonating voice carries across the teleportarium chamber over the rising hum of the emitter. "Room for one more." Let's give him a different voice. "Brother Sergeant, room for one more?" Epistolary Radimus, Valerius says, acknowledging the new arrival with a deferential bow of his head. "You honor us with your presence." The librarian is an imposing sight indeed, standing out even amongst a party of Terminators of the chapter's first company, where your tactical dreadnought armor and that of your brethren is the sunfire yellow of molten gold. The primary color of the librarian's armor is the deep-hued crystalline blue of lapis lazuli. He does not wear a helmet. Instead, his head, with its patrician features, a close-cropped white beard, and dual service studs, denoting more than 2 centuries of devoted service to the Imperium, is framed by the ceramite and crystalline lattice structure of a psychic hood. This arcane device helps to focus the librarian's formidable powers, whilst at the same time protecting its wearer from the attacks of enemy psychers. On his left arm, Radimus bears a storm shield, that in turn bears the clenched fist symbol of your chapter. In his right hand, he carries a mighty hammer. The epistolary can channel his devastating psychic powers through this weapon, redoubling its already deadly ability to injure the enemies of the Imperium. "What troubles you, epistolary?" Valerius asks, unsettled by the librarian's abrupt appearance. "You sense a perturbation in the warp." "A shadow moves upon the face of the sea of souls, something insinuating itself into my subconscious. Whispers from the warp, the voice of ghosts and demons, utterance of prophecy and blasphemy both." "A prophecy?" Valerius almost gasps. "About our undertaking?" "Indeed, Brother Sergeant. Something sinister is at work here." "What do you mean, Brother Librarian? What do you mean, Brother Librarian?" Apothecary Ordis asks, intrigued rather than anxious. "I cannot tell you any more than that," the epistolary says, his eyes backlit by an eerie luminescence. "Only that fate has plans for you." You suddenly feel the librarian's gaze alight upon you. Kale flexing his lightning claws, the simple action heavy with menace. "If it is something I can kill, just show me the way, brother." Radimus takes a step towards the teleportarium platform. "I wish to accompany you to the derelicts. In Dorn's name." "In Dorn's name you would be most welcome," Sergeant Valerius says, bowing his head once more. "Let us hope so," the epistolary says darkly. As Brother Librarian Radimus joins your party on the beaming plate, Sergeant Valerius raises his power sword in a time-honored martial salute. "Primarch Progenitor," he declares, his words echoing from the metal walls of the sanctified chamber. "To your glory!" You and your battle brothers answer as well with the traditional response, "And the glory of him on earth." Commencing teleportation sequence. In the name of the different voice. Commencing teleportation sequence. In the name of the Omniscience. Brother Clavis intones, the rising hum of the arcane device filling the chamber grows in intensity, as does the monotonous chanting of the tech adepts. You feel a strange tingling deep within your bones as the inscrutable machine begins to disassemble your body, your armor, and your implants one at a time, piece by piece, molecule by molecule, atom by atom. Pause. That is fucking horrifying, but awesome. I've never read a 40k thing where someone teleports and describes how it feels, but with the increased reflexes and senses of a space marine, they may even be able to feel that, and that's fucking terrifying. Kind of like how in the Avengers, because of Spider-Man's spider senses, he can feel himself be snapped by Thanos before it happens, whereas everybody else just poofs. He's the only one who's like, "I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark," because of his heightened reflexes. Alright, back to the book. A juddering crash suddenly shakes the teleportarium to its very foundations, and several laminators wink out. The chanting of the tech adepts is replaced by a panicked binaric chatter, and followed by a subsonic boom. The teleportarium activates. You brace yourself as the ancient mechanism prepares to hurl you from one of the discrete from one discrete physical point in space to another via a precisely focused Geller field. One by one, in quick succession, your battle brothers blink out of existence in a beam of searing white light. Taking a deep breath of suit-recycled air, you close your eyes and wait for the teleport to transport you to the Hulk. There is a second juddering crash, and you are forced to take a stumbling step to stop yourself falling. Even in your massive heavy suit of Terminator armor, you open your eyes. You are still aboard the Shield of Dorn. The whine of the Geller field generators rise and fall as bursts of eldritch energy crackle across the array above you. "What's going on?" you start to say before the Brother Clavis silences you with an upraised hands. "Brother Nabor, remain where you are. The Tech Marine..." "Brother Nabor, remain where you are." The Tech Marine's voice comes to you through your helmet comm. Yet another crash rocks the teleportarium chamber, dislodging centuries of dust from the curved metal ribs of the craft's hull, forming obscuring clouds all around you. Something is clearly wrong. But what? Get clear of the ancient teleportation device as quickly as possible? We're gonna stay, as Brother Clavis commanded. Obeying Brother Clavis's command, you wait as an unfathomable forces ripple and distort the air around you. Gradually, the epileptic bursts of energy fade from brilliant white to a much calmer blue. "Geller field stabilizing," announces a sweating tech adept from his place at the control lectern. Finally, the collapsing energy field dissipates altogether, leaving behind nothing but the stink of ozone in the air and an uneasy feeling in the pit of your stomach. Unease, yes, but not fear, for the Adeptus Astartes are untroubled by such pathetic emotions. "Geller field stabilized," confirmed the tech adept. "By the grace of the Omnisire," the Tech Marine says. "Brother Clavis, what happened?" you begin, only to be interrupted by yet another juddering crash. "Shipmaster," the Tech Marine says, speaking to the dust-filled air. "Status report." "The Shield of Dawn is under attack," comes Shipmaster Treba's stress response over the comm. "They came out of nowhere." Who did?" Clavis demands. "Pirates. Xenos scum." The shipmaster's voice echoes around the vaulted metal chamber. "Eldar, and the most black-hearted of their inimical kind." A host of other voices are crackling over the comm, sounding like they are echoing to you across space and time. They are the voices of your battle brothers, carrying to you from wherever they have been transported to board the drifting Space Hulk. And suddenly the comm signal from the Hulk cuts out. "All available battle brothers!" "Hey, Blue, it's good to see you. I love your new layout, man." "All available battle brothers," a voice booms through the ship's internal Vox system. "Prepare to repel boarders." "Not to you, Brother Nabor. Not to you, Brother Nabor," the Tech Marine intones as the teleportarium is bathed in the rippling glow of tamed lightning once again. Power has been restored and the device is ready to fire. Goddamn, new avatar, hell yeah. I got several. I actually have several costumes. I was going to make them for event months, but 40k month was... I didn't like it last time, so we're not doing 40k month anymore, but I am going to throw this avatar on whenever I'm playing a Warhammer game. There's barely enough time. There's barely enough time to give utterance to your chapter's motto before, with a burst of actinic light and a roar like the death cry of stars, the teleport tears a tunnel through space-time and hurls you through it. Wheels of fate. Are we gambling? We gambling. Fist, skull! Your vision blurs. Oh, shit. Was that like a roll? For the briefest nanoseconds, you feel as if you are occupying two places in time and space untrammeled forces, like of which would kill a lesser being. Assault your what? Kill a lesser being and assault. Okay, I got it right here. It feels as if you are occupying two places in time and space as untrammeled forces, the likes of which would kill a lesser being, assault your genetic physiology. Oh, fair. The searing light of the teleport abruptly vanishes and you find yourself in darkness, your eyes and the techno senses of your tactical dreadnought armor taking precious seconds to compensate. Fist, head? So just I'm imagining a little smiley face with his dukes up, getting ready to fight. Suddenly your senses are assaulted by the clatter of chitin on metal deck plates and sibilant hissing as bone-white and entrail purple shapes emerge from the murk. the HUD of your suit revealing them in infrared as hot yellow blurs running towards you. Years of training and psycho-conditioning that long ago became instinct allow you to react without the need to resort to conscious thought. But which weapon will you use to defend yourself against the sudden slavering attacks? We are on a Space Hulk. We want to try to avoid... It's yes, like that. Indeed. You're on point, Blue. I'm going to bring out my Stormbolter, try to keep some range between us. Even though the speed of your reactions outstrip those of any mortal warrior, you are still not fast enough to beat the preternatural speed of your creature assaulting you. Before you can even pull your finger tight on the trigger of your Stormbolter, the multi-armed monstrosities are on you. As one of the slavering monsters knocks your weapon aside, another lashes at the exposed midriff of your armor. It is as if you are watching the scene from outside yourself as unbelievably the obsidian talons of the hissing monstrosity gouge their way through your chest plate, delivering a savage wound to your augmented flesh beneath. You lose 2 wounds. Battling the Genestealer clear with your power fist, you engage the snarling brute in close combat. You are facing off with 3 Genestealers. You enter close combat with them immediately. So yeah, let's go. The enemy has first strike. Defend yourself. Alright, so this is the gameplay part of it. We have ourselves a little screen here, and we have what seem to be 3D renders of Warhammer minis. So we got 33 chance to deal, 44 chance to deal. What is with the loud-ass volume here? Hold on a second. I'll go ahead and cut it down a bit. So we have 3 targets here. You put the gameplay on top of the layout. Yeah, I usually do. I wanted to kind of look like I was framing it. I might move it behind, though. Not gonna lie. I think since you gave me a transparent window, I'm probably gonna move the action behind. Alright, we got 44% chance to do 2 wounds, 33, 44. Alright, so we're definitely gonna go with the Power Fist here. We are going to attack. Crit. We got 2 more actions left. He's done. Hit. Alright, move to our next target, and we're just gonna punch him. I'm just gonna fist him. We're gonna hit. We're gonna hit. And then we're gonna focus so that we can defend ourselves and take less damage. Yep. That'll also lead to our next attack doing more damage and potentially critting. So, attack, attack, focus. Crit. Shit. Hit. Victory, Battle Brothers! Even though the speed of your reactions outstrip those of any mortal warrior, you are... Okay, yeah, victory. The Genestealers are dead. Their alien viscera and the stinking ichor that passes for blood among their kind plasters the walls, floor, and ceiling of the chamber. The space is little more than a widening of a corridor, and judging by its construction, it is highly likely that it was once part of some Imperial vessel or other. Accessing the auspex built into your tactical dreadnought armor, you take a moment to sweep the local area, making sure that a host of the aliens isn't about to descend on you from the ventilator ducts above your head or burst from the maintenance channels under the floor. When the auspex reads clean, you consider your next move. Hello there. Hi, Ghost. The rest of Squad Scipio is somewhere on board the derelict, but at present you have no idea where. Something is blocking your auspex signal from reading anything more than 30 meters away. The layout looks awesome. It really does. It's my best layout yet. Blue made it. This could be down to something as innocuous as radiation shielding, or alternatively, something altogether more sinister. I think my favorite thing about it is it matches my style perfectly. Such as a Xenos-created dampening field. But yeah, like his the painted look of the layout matches my style almost perfectly. Aside from your fellow Imperial fists, there are also Genestealers on board. While the Broodmind is still active, the Xenos still pose a serious threat. But if you were able to eliminate their Broodlord, you could neutralize the threat. So which is it to be? Okay, so... Huh. Hey dude! Hey Edgelords! How's it going, man? Good to see you. Everyone say thank you, Malkboy Blue, and follow on Twitter and Blue Sky. Hope you didn't mind my comment in Discord. Oh, I had just woken up. I would have replied to it otherwise. I thought that was funny as hell. I'll be honest. I actually don't. My number one thought is I don't think really anything in a Bungie game is metaphorical for our current time and place in reality. Like, I don't think there's a lot of social commentary in Halo or Marathon. But aside from the UNSC itself, right? Anyways, guys, I'll be right back. I need to go grab some water and a drink. Wait, why do I say water and drink? Else Enter Sandman. Humming psychosocial and it just turns into Enter Sandman. I'm back. Jump, jump, jump. Are you all competing for the stars? Hell yeah. You're my little star catchers. But yeah, it's awesome to see you all here. Yeah, you troglodyte. Righto. Let's get back to it. I will start searching for my battle. I think the best... We need party members, so let's go ahead and start searching for our Battle Brothers. Battle Brothers! I lose 1 purity. Shit. No, you totally talked... Oh, no, I wasn't that drunk. I can still remember last night. Assuming that the Genestealers... I don't need to do the voice. Assuming that the Genestealers were patrolling away from the direction of their nest, you head into the opposite direction, monitoring the feed from your helmet auspex as you go. However, the mission you were tasked with before boarding the Herald of Oblivion was to cleanse the derelict. Allowing the Genestealer hive and its broodlord to survive is a gross dereliction of your duty, and the vows you swore all those years ago, when you were first admitted to the Imperial Fist chapter. Damn! I do it for the lulz. That's fair. I hope our Battle Brothers are the most fucked up mismatched group ever. I hope they're okay. My thought was I needed more party members. Returning to the place you arrived after being teleported aboard the conglomeration of the warp-lost vessels and asteroids that form the Herald of Oblivion, you scan again for your Battle Brothers' life signs. The auspex comes back negative. Either they didn't teleport to the same location as you, or they have since set off on their mission, believing you to have been lost when the teleportarium malfunctioned. Accessing your helm... Oh yeah, we all have the same mission, so we probably should have gone for the same target. Accessing your helm comm, you try to contact the Shield of Dorn, but all you hear in return is the hiss of static and the sound of distant explosions before it cuts out altogether. Something's blocking the signal. For the time being, at least, you're on your own. It seems likely that there is something about the construction of the vessel you're currently in that is preventing your auspex from completing the long-range scans. Been very aware, Battle Brothers. Oh god, what's that? Tomorrow is long school day. Boo. Fuck long school. Perhaps from a leaking fusion reactor or a radioactive mineral deposit in an asteroid bound to the craft somewhere nearby. You are able, however, to accomplish a 3-dimensional scan of the internals of the rogue trader vessel you are currently in, which in turn enables you to locate a way out. Half an hour later, you emerge from the rogue trader vessel through what was once an airlock into an echoing pitch-black space. Activating your suit's searchlight, its beam pierces the gloom to reveal that you are standing inside what appears to be a vast rocky cavern. Suddenly, a designated marker tag flashes into being on the HUD, accompanied by a chiming alert. Almost said a chiming alert, like the chimer from Morrowind. It only takes the Auspex's machine spirit a moment to flag it as being that of Apothecary Ordis. Yo, we found the healer! Your Auspex currently isn't picking up any life signs for any other members of Squad Scipio, but they might be just out of range. You try your helm comm and hear nothing but static. According to your Auspex, Brother Ordis cannot be more than 100 meters away from your current position, but you don't know what obstacles you might have to cross to reach him. You could, of course, attempt to boost the gain on your Auspex in order to carry out a more thorough survey of the area. Let's, carry out a more comprehensive scan here. Yeah? Brother, I am blind here. Okay. Yes. Okay, okay. The Auspex bleeps and burbles as it scans the cavern and whatever lies in the darkness beyond the range of your searchlight. We're going to go ahead and save here as well. Slowly, Brother, I am pinned here. Been watching JoJo's in the Discord. I don't know, TJ. You are looking into a lot of trans interests, it seems. Been watching JoJo's. Yo, nice! How far in are you? The Auspex bleeps and burbles as it scans the cavern and whatever lies in the darkness beyond the range of your searchlight. Slowly, the Auspex builds up a more detailed three-dimensional map of the cavern, the scan even indicating what other vessels that form the structure of the Herald of Oblivion might be. As you would expect, there are a number of Imperial vessels, everything from bulk transporters to a Retribution-class battleship. But there are also vessels grown of alien wraithbone, other semi-organic craft, and one might even be a Nikasaur Dao. Season 1, Part 2. Yo, nice. Well, you know what I love about JoJo? You get to experience peak very early. Like, it doesn't, like, the quality shifts, but, like, you get to experience Phantom Blood Battle Tendency very early on. It's so good. Battle Tendency is amazing. It would also appear that the way through Brother Ortis' location is relatively straightforward. However, you note that although his life sign is still registering, he hasn't moved since your Auspex. He still hasn't moved since your Auspex first located him, and there's no sign of your other battle brothers. The route you take to find the apothecary leads you across the cavernous heart of the trapped asteroid, to a point where the blunt nose of another vessel has burst through the silicate rock wall. The impact must have occurred hundreds, if not thousands of years ago, and resulted in the hull of the craft being breached as well. Yes, it really... You didn't know that? Yeah, no, To Be Continued is from JoJo. Specifically the Phantom Blood, the first two parts. Entering this vessel, you home in on the signal from your Auspex, following the HUD display to the marker tag. And it is then, as your illuminator beam falls on the solid adamantium bulkhead of you, that you see Brother Ortis for the first time. Examine Brother Ortis. Damn it. Even as you stare in horror at the unyielding adamantium wall, the apothecary's life sign marker on your HUD winks out. You are too late. Brother Ortis is dead, but then that is hardly surprising considering how he was clearly teleported into the very fabric of the bulkhead itself. Fuck, that sucks! No! Oh, that's awful! He got stuck in a wall? He got fucking Sword Art Online? That sucks so bad! What the fuck? No doubt his internal organs became fused with the ship and therefore death was inevitable. The bone white of the apothecary's armor is in stark contrast to the near black bulkhead. The crimson prime helix of Ortis' heraldry stands out as bright as freshly spilled blood upon an arm pauldron that protrudes from the bulkhead, as does Brother Ortis' helm and one leg. It is as if he became trapped whilst attempting to run through the wall. Fuck. That song is called Roundabout by Yes. Absolutely. I really was excited. I'm like, oh boy, we get the apothecary, we get the medic. Nope. Fuck. Pour one out, Jesus. Taking the apothecary's helmet in your hands, you carefully remove it. Lifeless, Ortis' head tips forward, his chin dropping onto the neck ring of his suit. You look again at the arm thrust clear of the adamantium and the archaic instrument attached to it. It is Ortis' Narthesium, his battlefield medikit. The Narthesium is no longer of any use to the apothecary, so you release it from its maglocks and then secure it to your own armor. Yeah, you want to recover as much as you can, because, like, a lot of Space Marine artifacts and technology can't be recreated. A quick inspection reveals that Ortis had just replenished his supplies before joining the boarding party. There are unguents and medicamentum equivalent to 5 medikits worth. Cool, so I just got some potions, that's good. Each time you use a medikit, you restore your wounds score to its starting total. You might be too late to save Brother Ortis, but you might yet be able to preserve his gene seed, so that his genetic essence might live on in another battle brother one day. If only you can work out how to operate the reductor progenoid reclamation device correctly. Flipping open the cover of the mechanism's control panel, you find yourself faced with an array of blinking runes. With a hasty prayer to the Emperor, you tap away at keys, hoping to stumble upon the correct combination to activate the reductor. My purity is less than 6. My purity is equal to or greater than 6. Are you... Oh, there's skill checks? Fuck! Entering the code, you successfully activate the reductor. Without a moment's hesitation, you plunge its whirring drill bit into Ortis's neck. Feeling the clamp teeth bite down on the tough organ, you pull it free. Fortunately, you are also able to remove the second progenoid located within the apothecary's chest. Secure both glands in one of the sanctified stasis chambers inside the Narthesium. Whew! So yeah, we recovered its gene seed at least. That's gonna save. That's gonna help the chapter quite a bit. There is nothing more you can do for Brother Ortis, and so are forced to leave his body locked within the very fabric of the bulkhead. However, you are able to retrieve the magazine. Retrieve 3 clips of bolter rounds that are in the apothecary's possession. Each clip has 20 shots. I want to point out that people being pedantic fucks about the difference between clips and magazines leads to me automatically correcting clips to magazines whenever I read them or say them in the context of guns. And I blame fucking Apex Legends for this. I blame fucking Bangalore being like, clips are for your hair. This is a magazine. It's like, okay. It's also called a clip, you pedantic fuck. It's been called a clip for years. I blame Moist Critical. Yeah, same here. Like, don't stop that, you pedantic fuck. It's like, it's called a cartridge, not a bullet. Like, fuck you. I'll call it what I want to call it, and as long as you know what I'm talking about, it's fine. Dick. That's not a knife. This is a knife. However, as you progress further through the bulk cargo hauler, following the only viable path open to you, your helm auspex begins to bleep and chirp with activity. Bleep, bleep, chirp, chirp. Chip, 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 chip. Overlaying the information it is picking up on your helmet's HUD, a wireframe 3D scan of the Hulk appears first. On top of this, then appear the target markers indicating your battle brother's life signs. A feeling of relief washes through you as you see that the rest of the boarding party are still alive, although they appear to have somehow been scattered throughout the Hulk. Okay, but genuinely the guy attacking Moist fucking deserves it. Oh yeah, that guy? Oh, the look at my clips and he starts pulling out like a gun and dancing with it? Yeah, that guy's an asshole. Clips are used to reload mags. I'm a gun nut and that's the last thing I will care about. That's true. Oh yeah, he totally deserved it to be mocked that way. Based on the primary scan downloaded into your auspex whilst you were still on board the Shield of Dorn, and from the information your auspex has picked up since, including the locator signals relayed from your battle brother's suits, you know which direction you need to travel to track each of them down. Like, if I'm ever doing airsoft and I'm loading in my clip and I say, all right, I'm just loading in my, and I say, like, somehow it comes up in conversation and you correct me, I'm gonna pop you in the fucking kneecaps or like whatever part of your body has skin showing. Or like if I ever go to buy a gun from a store and I ask for a magazine and they correct me, I'm walking out of that store and going somewhere else. Blue over here, like, yeah, Blue's. Oh, is the clip the thing you use to slide the ammo in with? I think so. I mean, like, let's say you have a pistol, right? The thing with the bullets in it that you put into the gun that then loads the bullets into the gun. It's a clip and it's also a magazine, whatever you want to call it, as long as, like, the way language works, like, my mindset is that language exists for the purpose of communication. As long as the correct idea is being communicated, then that's all that matters. Yeah. Hold on, let me take a Twitch magazine real quick. So, which of your... Hey, chat, magazine this. So, which of your fellow Imperial Fists do you want to try to track down first? Epistolary Radimus. We need a Psyker. I wanted to know the diff. Yeah, it is. See, like a stripper clip. A stripper clip. Wait. Is a stripper clip not called a stripper clip? It's called a stripper magazine? Let me just look up stripper clip. Yeah, a speed loader that holds several cartridges, usually between 5 and 10 together in a single unit for easier and fast loading of a firearm magazine. like what a Grand uses, right? Or Red 9. Yo, chat, mag this. Real M16's in basic. There's an adapter that takes clips and shoves them into the mag. Oh, okay. So I'm guessing the clip specifically refers to the literal metal clip that holds the stack of bullets, and then that just became part of the lingo. That's interesting. But yeah, language evolves. Language is oftentimes inconsistent, and trying to deny this reality just makes you look like a hipster. Garand uses clip, something like a 1911 uses a magazine. Yeah, but yeah. A magazine isn't always a clip, but a clip is always a... I guess that would mean it would fit into the rectangle and square thing, in that... Ammunition built this, yes. Also learning that drum mags are just a pain in the ass to use. Because yeah, when you learn what a... Once you see a drum mag get used, you're just like, oh, why don't you just use that all the time? That's great, you can carry so many bullets. And the problem is loading those is such a pain in the ass. Yeah. I mean, you can always do what Big Boss. You could always do what the boss does and get the one with the feeding mechanism that's shaped like an infinity symbol. That way, you just have infinite bullets. It's real. Sigint told me. With the signal from the librarian's suit as your target, you set off deeper into the derelict. Echoing empty chambers the size of ecclesiarchy templums give way to the claustrophobic warrens of Salatian nest spheres, which in turn give way to passages that appear to have been hewn from the rocks of captured asteroids. Continuing to follow the signal, you eventually find yourself in a large chamber that tapers to a point before a fissure that rises 30 meters through the rock wall in front of you. Whatever else lies beyond the fissure... Okay, I don't like the word fissure right now because, oh god. I don't even want to talk about why I don't like the word fissure. Let's just say I had a medical condition not too long ago that involved fissures existing within my skin. And so whenever I hear the word fissure, I remember the burning, itching sensation. It is within that you will find Brother Librarian Radimus, or whatever it is that remains of him. You ease your tactical dreadnought armor through the rift and enter the strangely miasmic gloom beyond. The rock walls themselves appear to ooze with slime. Slowly you realize that the substance of the tunnel isn't rock at all. What you took to be the rocky exterior of a trapped asteroid was in truth the void-hardened exterior shell of some unimaginably huge Tyranid bioship. Oof. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Yeah, for real, Blue. I agree with that. But for some reason, before Mill, I thought mags were for rifles and clips were for pistols. Either way, it's a bundle of ammo for a gun. Yeah, and they're functionally the same thing. Like, they're basically just, hey, a little box for your bullets. A little thing that stacks your bullets up so that they can all load right into your gun, you know? It's like eating a stack of crackers, but it's a stack of bullets. By the way, this is like, I love the assault cannon. I don't know why I love the assault cannon so much. It's just one of my favorite Warhammer weapons in terms of design. I've always just loved it, everything about it, you know. I like the big old box in the back that carries all the bullets, which is probably not even what it is. Actually, no, that probably is what it is. You probably pop it up, reload the magazine, the big-ass magazine into the back of it, almost. I love the assault cannon. I've always liked the assault cannon as a weapon. One of my Terminators has one. Looked it up. Yeah, that seems like a pain in the ass. Could you... Well, no, I mean, Blue's saying don't point a gun at me. That's all he's saying. But I do like the idea of someone holding, like, taking a magazine and, like, pushing it to your head and trying to rob you. Like, not even a gun, just a magazine. And it's like... Fucking what? You know, okay, here's what's up. What would be more scary? Someone pointing a gun at you, or someone taking six NATO rounds and clutching them between their fingers like they're fucking Volgan and taking a fighting stance? Like they're gonna punch the bullets into you. I remember when I was playing MGS3 for the first time, I lost my fucking shit when Volgan just held a NATO round in his palm and then just... using his electricity powers, fired it out of his palm like a gun. That was so fucking cool. My purity score is less than 13. As you make your way through the fetid gloom and the blood-red darkness of the bioship's interior, You wonder how it came to be part of the Herald of Oblivion. Tyranid hive fleets do not travel through the warp like ships of the Imperium or various other alien races, having mastered the instinctive manipulation of the gravity fields of star systems to achieve superliminal speeds instead. That's fucking awesome. I did not know Tyranids worked that way. That's super cool. Look, if someone was like Volgan, I'd shit my pants. 66 more bullet per bullet. Honestly, I'd be scared if someone threatened me with a mag, because that person is clinically insane and will kill me. Oh yeah, they are. The best thing I have seen is reloading a magazine, which is awesome, is someone made a wooden block that holds the magazine. You line up the bullets and just push them into the magazine. Yeah, I still think the coolest way I've ever seen a gun get reloaded. Even like, and it's not even that unrealistic. It's Resident Evil 4 when Leon reloads the Red 9, where he uses the stripper clip, pushes the bullets down into the top of the gun, and then flicks the stripper clip away. It is the coolest reload animation. Second place would be Nero reloading his revolver at the beginning of Devil May Cry 4, where he empties the cartridges from the pistol and then uses and then throws out all 6 bullets into the air and then swings the open cylinder towards the bullets, perfectly lining up all 6 bullets and then snapping the gun shut before aiming it at Dante. It is such a cool reload thing. Third place would probably be Vash popping open his revolver, which opens up, I think it's called a breech loader. No, it's not a breech. Is it breech loader? Yeah, I think it's a breech loader. It opens like the Unica or the Skullfield, where instead of popping the cylinder out to the side, you open the back of the gun completely. But it's the time he fires off a full round of 6 shots and then uses the hot shell casings as like a melee weapon. It opens for... Yeah. But it's when he uses the fucking hot shell casings as like a melee weapon that he like tosses into a guy's face and the guy goes, "Ow!" And then he uses a speed loader to reload it before pistol whipping the guy. I love Bash. Top break reloader. Yeah, there we go. As you make your way through the fetid gloom and... Okay. However, considering the rent in the bioship's hide, it would seem fair to assume that this particular vessel suffered catastrophic damage at some point in the past, causing it to enter a state of dormancy or hibernation. Yeah, Tyranid ships are just big Tyranids. If, after all, it had encountered the Hulk, which by dint of its sheer size could have pulled it in with its own gravity field, it is highly possible that 2 spaceborne entities that became combined as the Hulk... The 2 spaceborne entities became combined as the Hulk continued to draw out all manner of space debris into itself. But one thought worries you. With both yourself and the potent psyker brother librarian Radimus stalking the hive ship's fetid depths, how long will it be before the spacefaring superorganism starts to wake up again? Click, 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 click. Yeah, for real. I agree with you 100%. I'm in the same boat as you, edgelords. Like I have a bunch of airsoft guns picked out that I want to get purely for target shooting and for fun, but I don't really have an interest in ever buying a real gun, even for something like home defense, because practicing proper gun safety almost completely counters the use of a gun for home defense. God, I think I've shown it on screen before, but it's Vash and Knives gunfight in Trigun, and like that part where they both load a single bullet into their cylinders. Like, it's this great moment where they're like trying to fight each other, and it's a combination of melee and shooting, of them repeatedly closing the distance or moving backwards from each other to try to line up a shot. With neither character wanting to actually kill each other. But it leads to a really good moment where both of them are able to grab one bullet off the ground, load it into their revolvers, and they repeatedly fire both of them repeatedly fire 5 times directly into each other's heads. And it's just click, 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 and then this moment where they both fucking freeze up before... Oh god, it's so good. Yeah, for real, TJ, I'm in the same boat as you. Trigun's great. If you like westerns and sci-fi and anime, definitely give it a watch. The unsettling passageway twists and turns with intestinal frequency until it branches into two distinct paths. All you know is that Epistolary Radimus is somewhere ahead, but which branch of the passageway will you take to him? He who conquers the left side conquers the world, Chief. Stormbolters also, hell yeah. Finally getting a pistol for target shooting, and it was nice to talk to the gun owner and not have him taken aback for not wanting it for home defense. It was nice to get experience from someone who knows guns. That's good to hear. I'm sure that's got to be real annoying, because I'm sure a lot of gun nuts are, like, crazy fucking right-wingers. And, like, I'm sure it's nice to find someone who's into guns who's not like that. Same for me with jets. I love jets. I don't ever want to be into a jet plane fight. Corpse gray cilia ripple and twitch at your passing, while your ceramite boots have to contend with the thick excretions of phlegmy matter coating the floor of the passageway you are now following. There is no sign, however, of any of the tyrannoforms you would expect to be lurking within a bioship of the Tyrannid hive fleets. Perhaps the thing really is dead after all, and all its spawn with it. In time, you reach another natural junction. A draft is being drawn towards the rubbery pipe to your left for some reason, while the fleshy tunnel to the right disappears into a crimson gloom. Let's go to the right this time. You have been making your way along the passageway through the blood-red gloom for some time when it bulges to form an elliptical chamber ahead of you, and in that space something is waiting for you. The chamber has been seeded with spore mines. These semi-sentient living bombs float above the spongy floor of the swollen passageway, thanks to their internal gas bladders. The body of a spore mine is either a spherical chitinous shell or a pulpy sac of poisons, which trails ganglia of trigger tentacles beneath it. If you want to stick to your current path, you are going to need to be very careful, or have some cunning strategy in mind for dealing with the threat posed by the drifting spores. Yeah, that's good. We're going to go ahead and try to pass through the chamber without disturbing any of the mines. Purely because I don't think the game would give me this challenge without expecting me to get through it. Cautiously, you begin to make your way across the chamber, aware that your Terminator armor makes you a bulky and obvious target. Wheels of fate, here we go. Come on. Destiny decided, I guess. You stumble. Oh no! A ceramite shoulder plate comes into contact with the waving fronds of feeler tentacles, and in response, the spore mine it is attached to detonates, bombarding you with bile acid and diamond-hard spines. The detonation of the first vine then triggers that of the mines next to it and those beyond, initiating a devastating chain reaction. I am still alive after my encounter with the spore mines. I need to heal myself as soon as I get the chance. Can I... Oh! Inventory! Hold on. I don't like that sphincter door thing. Brother Nabor, how many wounds do I got? I got 26 wounds, so I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. Heaven or hell? Leaving the devastation created by the spore mines behind you, you continue on your way. Passing through a curtain of Nidarian pseudopods, you find yourself in a new bodily conduit. To the right, the passage soon ends at a sphincter of black muscle that contracts and relaxes, opening and closing with heartbeat regularity. To the left, the curve of the tunnel to the left means that you cannot see where it ultimately leads. Let's take the left tunnel this time. The tunnel leads you to a great gallery deeper within the hive ship. What you see there has you training your weapons on the walls and checking your auspex and HUD for any sign of movement. You recognize the creature for what it is immediately. Oh fuck, for there can be no mistaking the terrible form of a Carnifex, one of the deadliest of all the Hive Fleet's assaulting creatures. The Carnifex is a living battering ram, powerful enough to take on a Vindicator tank and win. And yet this particular specimen isn't about to kill you. Instead, it appears to be sleeping. It is cocooned within a huge serum-filled blister on the wall of this chilled chamber, its massive siding talons and crushing claws folded across its massive thorax, or at its side. Alright, see you soon, edgelords. Its chitinous hide is scarred by what might have been blasted by lasblast, and half its head is bare to the bone, thanks to some injuries sustained in the past. You wonder how long the Carnifex has been like this, recuperating from its battle injuries in the cold as the hive ship went into hibernation, And how long is it likely to remain so? For all you know, there may be pheromone sensors or trigger hairs here that will awaken the Carnifex if you try to proceed any further. So how do you proceed? So I can either shoot him or move forward. Okay. So let's look at the possibilities here. If I open fire on the Carnifex, I might do some damage, and I will wake him up. But if I make it through, I may not have to fight him at all, but it might wake him up, and if it does so, I won't be able to have any advantage. He'll be able to get me. So we're going to go ahead and just shoot it while it's down, and then open fire on it. Open fire on it in combat. Opening fire on the dormant Carnifex, you managed to make its injuries significantly worse. However, you also managed to rouse it from its slumber. Giving voice to a horrendous shrieking scream, the monster tears its way free of its cocoon and comes for you like the living engine of destruction. Let's fucking rock. Okay, we are going to... Oh, can I not... Combat knife, power fists. Okay, it looks like I can't even heal myself. I don't want to close the distance on that bad boy, so we are going to... Withdraw. Fire. And focus. Withdraw. Fire. Fire. There we go, at least I hit him. Make him use up his turns to get to me. Withdraw. Fire. Yo, nice! It didn't even land a single hit on me. That's great. Ah, victory. The Carnifex is dead, its vital fluids running in rivulets across the bony matter at your feet. You were able to continue on your way through the gallery without further obstacles getting in your way. Proceed onwards, yippee! You pass from the bony hospital gallery into another fleshy tube that glows with internal bioluminescence. And start to wonder just how far inside the hive ship you have penetrated, and where can Epistolary Radimus be exactly? From the glowing oesophageal tract, you pass into a body cavity permeated by a miasmic gloom. The gloom is suddenly pierced by a spear of flame, and you lay your eyes on the pyrovore, waiting for you there for the first time. It is a lumpen creature, bereft of the sleek lines or heavy chitin armor of the other tyrannid species. In fact, it looks like little more than a series of digestive sacs on legs. Its belly and throat sac are distended and seethed with the volatile gastric juices contained within. As you watch, the pyrovore turns your way, its body hunched over. It anchors itself with heavily clawed feet in the soft floor of the gut chamber. Its body starts to convulse as it prepares to launch an incandescent ball of incendiary stomach acid from the cannon-like creature latched onto its back. The projectile vomit flames of the weapon symbiote are powerful enough to reduce armor as well as flesh to bone, to nothing more than a gooey, smoldering mucus, so you need to think carefully before rushing to engage the beast in battle. I will engage the pyrovore in combat from afar. That's exactly what I was thinking. You open fire on the pyrovore as the flame spread attaches by fires attempting to bathe you in a torrent of volatile stomach juices. Warning, high chance of localized explosion and death. Great. Alright, yeah, we are going to focus, and then fire, and then fire. Glancing blow, okay. Looks like from a distance he didn't hit me very hard. So focus, fire, focus. Fire, fire, fire. Unless he doesn't advance on me, I think I'll be fine. I could try and close the distance on him, but I'd rather not. I'd rather just keep blasting. Shit. I got one action left, so we're gonna go ahead and focus. You got him! Yay! I was using all my bolter rounds. I need to save them. We won! At your killing blow, the pyrovore's distended bladders and bloated gastric sacs rupture. Come on, something good. Boom. Your death blow exposes the volatile contents of the monster's gastric chambers. They combust on coming into contact with the air, blowing the pyrovore apart in an explosion of bile and gristle, and drenching you in a noxious geyser of corrosive Icor. You lose 5 wounds. I'm still alive. As the smoking vapors rise from what is left of the Pyrovore slowly dissipate, you notice for the first time that the walls of the passageway have purple-gray visceral hue. They begin to ripple and convulse with peristaltic motion. The sound of rushing water echoes from what can't be much further along the tunnel, while your suit detects an increase in humidity within the area. And then, with a great peristaltic heave, the passageway suddenly contracts and you find yourself being forced down the constricting tube, as if you are being swallowed. Something like Brother Kale's lightning claws would come in very useful right now. Sadly, you are without this particular piece of war gear. Brace myself for the ride. Fuck. There is nothing to do as the bioship pulls you deeper into itself. Gross. I'm being bored. 3 fists! You hang on. You are drawn down to the pipe and disgorged into a large chamber filled with what look like irregularly spaced, bubbling tar pits. However, you know that they are in fact the bioship's rendering pits. That knowledge is all you need to find the strength to throw out a hand and hang on to the outlet pipe, stopping yourself from being broken down for biomass yourself. Swinging yourself down in a more controlled fashion, you land on a gristly platform of cartilaginous matter between the pits of bubbling primordial slurry. Check out my surroundings. Suddenly your Auspex chimes, having picked up the Brother Radimus' signal again on the far side of the rendering chamber. You pause for a moment as you focus your thoughts. Perhaps if you concentrate hard enough, you might be able to spy your consciousness through the fetid haze of the hive mind with the Psyker sight and know that you are on your way. Only Radimus' signal isn't alone for long. Soon the built-in proximity alarm begins to sound and multiple returns paint the scope with glowing green runes. Since entering the Tyranid hive ship, how many of the following organisms have you encountered? 2 or 3 organisms. Okay, yeah, so it's a check. Your intrusion into the hive ship has not gone unnoticed. As you make your way across the chamber, following Brother Radimus' signal, a brood of agile, 6-limbed creatures dart towards you between the rendering pits. Each of the aliens clutches a weapon organism and open fire while they are still some way away. Let's fight. Enemy asks for a strike, defend yourself. Miss. Miss. Or glancing, at least. 8 wounds. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and close the distance on this one here. Turn. Crit. Done. Alright, and we'll use our Oh! 1, 2, 3. 3 misses. We will advance on this one here. Attack. They are mainly using guns, so closing the distance so I can stab the shooty ones is important. Oh, we can also do melee. Okay. Done. There we go. Miss and miss. Let's hit him again. 2 wounds, and then this guy here. Alright, then we're going to focus for our last shot so that I can defend against his attack. 1 damage. Alright. Hit him again. Got him. Victory! Yay! Even though you have dealt with the bioship's first wave of defense organisms, you suspect that more will be on their way soon. Quickening your steps, you reach the far side of the rib-vaulted body cavity and pass through the cartilaginous archway on the other side, and that's when it hits you. It's like a wave of palpable panic-inducing terror that gnaws at your mind and your sanity, all with the sheer overwhelming horror of it all. After all, you are creeping through the guts of some vast spacefaring organism that is only a minuscule part of an unimaginably vast intergalactic entity possessed of an appetite so insatiable, even the millions of star systems contained within the galaxy are not enough to satisfy its ravenous hunger. But I'm pure, bitch! Some malign entity nearby is projecting an aura of dread that gnaws at the edges of your sanity, scratching at the back of your mind, bringing your darkest fears and phobias to the surface. For whatever the Codex Astartes might say, there are things that even a space marine fears, such as in your case, not being able to complete your mission, or failing to fulfill your duty to your fellow Imperial fists. However, as a battle brother of the First Company... Yeah, First Company is always a Terminator company. However, as a battle brother of the First Company, you know how to use these anxieties, turn them back upon themselves, letting them fuel your righteous anger and retributive fury so that you might better punish the enemies of mankind. The Emperor protects. Your declaration echoes from the bony walls of the rendering vault, and hearing your words echoed back at you, you feel your faith revitalize you. You shall not fail, your Primarch or him enthroned upon Earth, no matter what obstacles the hive mind might set before you. Save, and then... load. This one, I guess? Yes. Okay. Gain 1 purity. Beyond the bony archway, you find yourself in a much smaller space. The walls of this organ chamber are made of pulsing black flesh etched with a spider's web of what looks like pulsating blood vessels. But the appearance of the chamber itself is not what grabs your attention as you enter. The monster must be at least 6 meters tall, the bony protrusions on its back reaching even higher than that. It stands on 2 enormous armored trunk-like legs that end in both hooves and claws. Every part of the xenoform's body has been genetically engineered with only one end in mind: to maim and kill the Hive Fleet's prey. The plates of obsidian purple chitin that cover the ivory flesh beneath are studded with razor-sharp barbs. In one of its 4-taloned hands, it holds a bone sword that crackles with neural energy, and in another, it clutches the body of Brother Librarian Radimus. Epistolary! You cannot help yourself. The shock of seeing the librarian like this, snared in the claws of the monster, is too much for you. The Hive Tyrant turns its needling stare on you, and in the same moment you feel its alien consciousness probe your mind's defenses, like talons scraping inside your skull. There is a sinister, self-aware intelligence at work behind those glassy, sharp black eyes. Brother Nabor! The librarian gasps. Stay back! Unconsciously, you tighten your grip on the weapon in your hands, Radimus's own war gear. His force hammer and storm shield lies not far from you amidst the vicious phlegm-like slime covering the spongy floor. Both hooves and claws. How'd that work? I think it ends in hooves, but it's reinforced with claws. Once we know the name, we'll probably be able to see it. It'll probably be a fight, and we'll be able to take a look at it. But epistolary, you begin, taking a step towards the monstrous tyrannid and its captive. The beast is too powerful, Radimus gasps, clearly in a great deal of pain. It is only then, as the Hive Tyrant draws... Oh, it's a Hive Tyrant! We can get a picture of that real quick. In fact, we might even be able to get a model to look at. Yeah, here it is. Yep, it's exactly what I thought. Yeah, let's switch over to Chrome Capture for a sec. Boop. So yeah, there's its sword, there's its dick gun. It's actually a physical part of his body. There's its back spikes, and there are its hoof claws. Ending with hooves reinforced with claws, like I thought. I actually don't know my Tyrant. I actually don't know my my Tyrannid units very well. But yeah, this right here is a Hive Tyrant. That's what we're dealing with right now in the game. We'll probably... Oh, he has a whip. Cool. We'll probably be able to see him soon anyway. Do we have a data sheet for him we can look at? God, the horror specs is so fucking gross looking. Like, isn't that... Look at that. Ew. Ew. Brother, ew. Brother, ew. Bri, why can't this shit research faster? I gotta wait 4 days for my noctocyanin upgrade. What's noctocyanin? Google's everything. Oh, it's an MGS, it's an MGSV. E. Alright, there we go. It is only then, as the Hive Tyrant draws back the limb clutching the Librarian, that you see how the horror has breached the Librarian's armor and has its claws inside his body. But I believe today is a good day for me to die. The Hive Tyrant turns its gaze on its prisoner, hissing savagely. You can feel the malign influence of the Synapse creature's psychic powers, so you hate to think what they must be doing to one whose mind is attuned to such otherworldly sensations. It must be pure torture. Nocto will mark enemies. Yeah. You cannot simply stand by and watch as Radamus is forced to endure such suffering, but what can you do? A Hive Tyrant is a powerful beast indeed, easily capable of wiping out a regiment of Imperial Guardsmen by itself, but so are you. Okay, here we are. Grant Epistolary the Emperor's peace and put him out of his misery. Attack the Hive Tyrant using my own war gear. Attempt to recover the Epistolary Radamus' war gear in order to use the Force Hammer and Storm Shield. Yes! With the Tyrant occupied with the struggling Radamus, you dash across the chamber to where the Epistolary's war gear lies, making sure you keep out of the way of its monstrous talons. But the Hive Tyrant does not need to be able to touch you to cause you harm. Hissing with a savage alien hatred, the Hive Tyrant reaches out to you with its mind and unleashes a piercing shriek of psychic force that sends you reeling. It is an attack so powerful it shreds both your body and soul. I am still alive. God damn it. Dismissing the idea of recovering the Librarian's war gear until the battle is done, you unleash the Emperor's righteous fury on the Hive Tyrant with everything you have in your personal arsenal. Use only my Stormbolters. Shit. Even a Terminator Space Marine, even an Imperial Fist is going to struggle to best one of the Hive Fleet's commanders in single combat. Only you're not alone. By distracting the monster from the captive and its claws, you give the brother Librarian the time he needs to muster his prodigious psychic power one last time, focusing them into a last-ditch assault on the Synapse creature. With a scream of Purgatus! Purgatus! Radamus unleashes an almighty blast of warp energy. It explodes with such force that just for a moment it looks to you like the Librarian has rent the veil between the physical realm and the warp asunder, unleashing devastating forces that utterly consume the Shrieking Tyrannid. The psychic shockwave picks you up and hurls you against the wall of the chamber, causing you to black out. But I'm still alive! When you come to again, an unnerving calm permeates the atmosphere of the chamber. The Hive Tyrant is dead, and beside its gargantuan insectoid body lies that of Epistolary Radamus. Quiet, can you stop? Get your ass away from the camera. Yeah, I'm glad to hear it, Blue. Yeah, your work's amazing, man. Get some rest. Medicae sensors built into your borrowed Narthesium scan his life signs and tell you what you already know, that the Librarian is beyond saving. The older Space Marine's eyes flicker open then. Brother Nabor, he says with a smile. I knew that we could deal with this horror together. He coughs, and his eyes half close for a moment. When they fully open again for the last time, as it turns out, you see the pupils of his eyes crackling with the last blue-white vestiges of psychic power. Beware the sleeping god. He says, his voice barely more than a whisper, his words no longer his own. Beware the harbinger of woe, and when death dies, look to the west. And then he is gone. A split second later, you feel the first of the paroxysmal tremors that pass through the bioship. It would seem that Radamus' psychic attack on the Hive Tyrant has fed back into the Hive mind, and thereby the Hive ship too. Instinct and years of battlefield experience in all theaters of war tell you that you should get out as quickly as you can. Turn tail, and we're going to recover his war gear. Alright, save. Load. Yes. Radamus' arms are potent relics of the chapter, and their loss would come at an incalculable cost to the Imperial Fist's future. You may take both the Librarian's Storm Shield and his Force Hammer, although the hands of a non-psyker, it will simply act as a Thunder Hammer. Without any prior warning, another paroxysmal shudder passes through the bioship, so powerful it throws you off your feet. Examine the Thunder Hammer. Do you take the Thunder Hammer? Yeah! Take the Thunder Hammer, okay. You take the Storm Shield? Take the Storm Shield. Attempt to recover Librarian Radamus' Gene Seed before going anywhere. Breaking the seals on Radamus' armor, you open it up to expose the cooling body sealed within. But do you know how to activate Brother Ortis' Reductor? I do not know the code, sadly. Cursing the Hive Tyrant and the entire Tyranid race, you are ready to quit the chamber as another paroxysmal shudder passes through the bioship, and the idea hits you. Desperate times call for desperate measure. You might yet be able to extract the Epistolary's gene seed with your combat knife. Oh boy, here we go. It's completely random chance, so you hesitate. In the process of trying to salvage your dead brother's gene seed, you actually damage the delicate progenoid organs with your combat knife. You did your best, none could dispute, but the glands are now irrecoverable, and the genetic heritage they contained lost to the chapter forever. Let's get out of the stinking ship. Did you encounter a lictor on your journey through the dormant hive ship? No, I have not encountered this character. Another rippling convulsion passes through the beast, and you wonder what could possibly be coming next. I don't like the slot machines. I'd rather have dice. I feel like that's more fair. The rumbling passes. Retracing the route you took through the bioship, your eidetic memory implants enabling you to remember every twist and turn of the superorganism's labyrinthine intestines, you soon find yourself at the rent in the creature's side by which you first entered its body. You cast a prayer of thanks to the Emperor and your Primarch for watching over you whilst you were inside the hive ship. Get clear of the stinking viscera of the alien monstrosity. You feel weary and wonder what has become of the rest of Squad Scipio. Check out my surroundings. You decide to waste no further time and continue your search. Further explore the Herald of Oblivion. You are trudging through the empty storage tanks of an old Prometheum transporter when the vessel is rocked by a shuddering collision that has all the force of a planetary seismic event. At first you think it must be a Hulk quake, not uncommon aboard the larger derelicts as gravitational forces and warp fatigue take their toll. But then with a scream of tortured metal, the hull of the tanker tears open and the jagged prow of a void raven reaches the storage tank. The sudden explosion of sparks ignite the hydrocarbon residue within. In the next second, the fires are snuffed out just as quickly as the flames are sucked out into the airless void on the other side of the hull. As the atmosphere bleeds out into space, so the scream of the Dark Eldar vessel's demise subsides into silence. The void battle between the Shield of Dorn and the piratical Dark Eldar is clearly still ongoing, but it pleases you to see that the strike cruiser has claimed another kill. As the Void Raven's engines detonate, the hole in the Prometheum tanker is blasted even wider, the burning wreckage of the Dark Eldar ship being the next thing to be pulled back out into the void, as the last of the atmosphere is sucked from the hold. At the same time, the forces that abhor a vacuum are working on you now, as everything that isn't bolted down is dragged towards the ragged rift. Something like Brother Kale's lightning claw would come in very useful right now. Sadly, you are without this particular piece of war gear. Is that what lightning claws are for? Lightning claws are for holding on? I thought they were for killing. Okay. Grabbing hold of the nearest thing you can find, you pray to the Emperor and the Primarch that they won't find you wanting in your commitment to the cause now. My purity score is less than 12, however. No matter how hard you try, you aren't able to hang on to the slime-slick flesh of the sphincter any longer. With a war shouted for Dorn, you are sucked out of the airlock and into a space of rushing escaping gas. You tumble through the void, your only hope now being that the Shield of Dorn's auger arrays detect you, but in the aftermath of its battle with the Dark Eldar, the strike cruiser's sensors are offline, so nobody on board even knows that you left the derelict. Although your own superhuman constitution and the recycling systems of your armored suit will protect you from the ravages of the void, they can only do so for so long. As you continue to drift unhindered by air resistance, you have plenty of time to contemplate your fate. Your adventure is at an end. Okay, well, we got our first ending. Awards? Let's see. Achievements, I guess? Brother Kale, find Brother Kale. So basically the way I like to do these is I like to keep trying until I get a good ending. That was clearly not a good ending, so... we're gonna do it again, but this time make better choices. Let's get on it. Sorry, I had to get some water. What's extras? I think extras is just like, oh yeah, I forgot about this. More games, more game books. I am curious. Let's find out what other game books exist. Oh, it literally opens the game. What? Okay, whatever. Let's play the game. It didn't do anything. We're gonna restart. Fresh start. We're gonna go for Astartes difficulty. Skip intro. Stay as Brother Clavicus commanded. Wheels of Fate. Your mind reels. Okay. The sensation of being turned inside out is replaced by an unsettling sensation of dislocation. As the furious light fades, you are left in near total darkness as your own heightened senses and the auto senses of your armored helm take a moment to adjust to the lower light levels. All around you is smoke and darkness. Your auto senses take over, revealing that your new location in a lurid spectrum of contrasting heat signatures, and that's when you see them coming towards you through the smoke and gloom. They are a number of unnatural monsters. Xenospawn. They are multi-limbed monstrosities, each as large as a space marine. Thanks to years of battling the enemies of mankind, you recognize them immediately. They are Genestealers. Despite being foul and human monsters, you know from bitter personal experience that the creatures are possessed of a malign cunning, incredible strength, lightning-fast reflexes, and claws so sharp they can tear through Terminator armor. But something isn't right. Pure-strained Genestealers possess all manner of unknowable senses, but, judging by the way they're creeping through the grilled metal corridor you now find yourself in, they are as yet unaware of your presence, and then you realize why. You have teleported on board what would appear to be a rogue trader vessel. Judging by the motifs displayed on the metal ribs of its hull, the ancient reactors that once powered this ship to the warp have come to the end of their life, and after who knows how many centuries, the gases and heat they are pumping out as they fail is hiding you from the approaching aliens. However, it can't be much longer before one of them detects your presence. I will enter into range combat, but for the moment you have the advantage. I will enter into range combat with the Genestealers. Because in Space Hulk, the actual board game, you want to try to keep Genestealers at a distance when you fight them, so... Emerging from the smoke with a muttered oath of, "For the Emperor!" You open fire. Your Stormbolts are a physical manifestation of the Emperor's limitless wrath. You are facing off against 4 Genestealers. You enter close combat with them immediately. And we'll focus the defense. Glance. Glance. So that first playthrough was on a higher difficulty because I misclicked and hit veteran last time. Come on. Fire. Fire. I'm in melee range, so I might as well switch to my melee weapon. Oh yeah, melee is way better. Which is weird for Space Hulk combat. You'd imagine that it would be ranged weaponry that you'd want to focus on, but it looks like actually, in this case, like, despite it being more dangerous to be close, like, I can still beat him with a, boom. Boom, and... God damn it, stop dodging me, you bitch. I wonder what that yellow bar is. Oh, it's like, yeah, it's my crit energy, I remember correctly. Pow. Alright, that'll defend me for now. Glancing blow. Focus. Attack. Attack. Focus. Attack. Focus. Focus. Attack. There we go. So focus, attack, focus is what I can do in order to protect myself while dealing some damage. The fight is over. Okay, so the Genestealers are dead. They're leaning this. Okay, yeah. Hold on. Okay. I will hunt down the Genestealers' Broodlord. Surmising that the Genestealers you encountered were heading away from the brood nest, having been sent out following the brood mind sensing Following the broodmind's sensing of your arrival aboard the Hulk, you retrace the clawed steps along the twisted metal corridors of the ancient wreck. Your journey takes you deeper and deeper into the ship, which is clearly of Imperial design. Your mind starts to wander, and you wonder what fate befell the crew of the vessel, whether they were long dead before the Genestealers colonized their craft, or whether the alien infestation was the result of an insidious takeover. You do not encounter any other Genestealers as you progress deeper into the ship, with nothing showing up on the auspex to alert you to the skulking presence of more of the alien infiltrators either. You come at last to a sealed circular bulkhead door. As you approach, the hatch remains stubbornly closed. The machine spirit that operates it is doubtless dormant after so many years lost in the warp. It might even have departed to be with the Omnissiah long ago. This leaves you with two options. If you are going to pass beyond the bulkhead, you are either going to have to try to rouse the slumbering machine spirit or force your way through. Let's try waking the machine spirit. Accessing the door mechanism terminal, you connect your own suit's machine spirit to that of the bulkhead door, offering a prayer to the machine god as the cogitators greet each other. My purity score is equal to or greater than 5. In the stillness of the empty passageway, you can just make out the binaric chatter of your suit's cogitator systems attempting to commune with the bulkhead door's machine spirit. Then suddenly there is the static wash chirp of a response, and with the creaking of ancient hydraulics and a pneumatic hiss as air pressures equalize, the hatchway arises open. You check your auspex, but there is still nothing. Boldly stepping through the portal, you make your way along the passageway beyond. Your footsteps echo eerily from the metallic grille floor, and you see signs of something, or likely several somethings, having broken through the floor, walls, and ceilings at several junctures. Whatever it was, it clearly isn't here now. You reach another hatchway, but this one activates automatically as you come within sight of its electronic eye, but what awaits you beyond causes you to catch your breath. Contained within what appears to be an ancient cargo hold are the curled, sleepless bodies of dozens of Genestealers. Or at least they were sleeping until your arrival opened the bulkhead door. A sinister fills the vaulted chamber as the Genestealers begin to stir. You are going to have to act fast if you are to deal with the very real threat that the Xenos pose. We need access to this door, so I'm going to start firing with my Stormbolter on full auto. With a shout of "For Dorn and the Emperor!" you open fire with your Stormbolter. The mass reactive shells explode on contact with the awakening Genestealers, exploding flesh, bone, and chitin on contact. 20 bolter rounds are deducted from your ammo count. Foul aliens spawn, die, screaming, but that doesn't stop the survivors of your assault from coming suddenly. From suddenly coming to full wakefulness and coming for you in a whirlwind of lashing claws and tearing talons. A single bolter round punctures a container on the far side of the cargo hold, and the Genestealers discover a new way to die. I love that line. The Genestealers discover a new way to die. That's so good that I'm changing the name of the stream. That is too good. That is too good of a line. That's too good. I cannot not use that. That's too good of a line. Anyway, back to it. Whatever it was the barrel contains, it is highly reactive. As the bolter round explodes within it, the chemical contents ignite, becoming a fireball that then sets off a chain reaction and the rest of the barrels packed in the hold. You give a hasty prayer of thanks to the Emperor for the rogue trader whose cargo it is that helped you purge the Xenos nest. But as the Genestealers die amidst the flames with a terrible guttural roar, something leaps from the fires now consuming the hold and comes at you. It is armed with a pair of deadly claws. Its chest is protected by thick plates of purple-black chitinous armor. Its body is a mass of lethal knotted muscles. The obsidian glimmer of its eyes speak of a malign alien intelligence, while a bright pink tongue, like a writhing worm, darts from between its jaws, tasting the air. Shaking off the last splatters of burning accelerant, the Broodlord attacks. Yeah, definitely defend myself. I need to back the fuck up. can't back up. So in that case, I'm going in. Focus, attack, attack. How many wounds does it have? 12? 9. Okay. I must have crit or something. Focus. Attack. Focus. I think I'm gonna beat it. I just need to keep it together. 100% chance to deal 6 wounds. It's over. Boom! Alex wins. The fight is over because my critical finally rose high enough. Victory! Do this choice again, I guess. Boop. Fight. Oh, I gotta do the fight again? Are you for real? Good job, game. You buggy piece of shit. Gotta make sure to save after battles from now on. There we go. So it gets 2 attacks. Rah! Dead. Alex wins. Yay! Almost all my staff is at least S rank. Nice! That was what I struggled with. I hit capacity and like... Yeah, I got to the point where I needed to start just seeking out exclusively A rank or higher staff. Alright, this time we're going to save right here before advancing. You have defeated the Broodlord and eradicated its nest. Even if there are any survivors, they will be forced into instinctive hibernation, and the threat they pose to any Imperial world will be dramatically reduced. Picking them through the gunk and resinous secretions, you find 3 clips of Stormbolter ammunition, each containing 20 rounds, along with an ancient relic blade. Hell yeah, I'll take the ancient relic blade. Does it? Okay. Yeah, relic blade, let's go! With the threat posed by the Genestealers gone, you set out to find out what happened to Sergeant Valerius and the rest of Squad Scipio. Return teleportation location. Returning to the place where you arrived after being teleported aboard the conglomeration of the warp-lost vessels and asteroids that form the Herald of Oblivion, you scan again for your Battle Brothers life signs. The Auspex comes back negative. Either they didn't teleport to the same location, or they've... Okay, yeah, we've already read this part. S rank and above. I'm just grinding the AI enemy base event and going on round points. Okay, yeah, that's a good idea. Follow the signal I've picked up already without a further delay. The route you take to find the apothecary leads you across the cavernous heart of the trapped asteroid to a point where the blunt nose of another vessel has burst through the silicate rock wall. The impact must have occurred hundreds, if not thousands, of years ago, and resulted in the hull of the craft being breached as well. Entering this vessel, you home in on the signal from your Auspex, following the HUD display to the marker tag. And it is then, as your illuminator beam falls on one solid adamantium bulkhead ahead of you, that you see Brother Ortis for the first time. Brother! Brother! Thank the Primarch you found me in time! He gasps. He's clearly in a great deal of pain, but then that's hardly surprising, seeing as how he appears to have teleported into the very fabric of the bulkhead itself, and become fused half in and half out of the structure. That's really cool, TJ. Nice. Carefully you break the seal on its helmet and remove it. Ortis' expression is one of barely suppressed agony. Brother, you begin not really knowing what to say. There's nothing you can do for me, Ortis says, as if reading your mind. I am dying. But first, I must pass my sacred duty on to you, in case you find any more of our brethren in a similar situation to mine. It's got good vibes, yeah. Clearly the Dark Eldar attack on the Shield of Dorn at such a vital moment in the Teleportarium sequence resulted in a catastrophic failure. I love the CRTs. Yeah, same here. My favorite graphical effect in the game is probably when you scan intelligence and like the little beams shoot out from the iDroid and the paper like smokes from it. I love that. You wonder how many more like Brother Ortis are lost forever, their component atoms scattered within the freezing depths of the void. Take my Narthesium, the apothecary says, indicating the archaic instrument attached to his arm, that is mercifully free of the bulkhead with a downward glance. At Ortis' behest, you release the maglock securing the Narthesium in place and attach it to your own arm. They are unguents and medicamentum equivalent to 5 medikits worth. Each time you use a medikit, you restore your wounds scored with starting total. As you do this, Ortis intones the apothecary's creed between agonized gasps. It is the sacred oath sworn by all those who submit themselves for training by the apothecarium. He that may fight, heal him. He that may fight no more, give him peace. He that is dead, take from him the chapter's due. While his gene seed returns to the chapter, a space marine cannot die. He breaks off, choking on his own blood as his body shuts down. Without death, pain loses its relevance. Ortis then proceeds to tell you the clandestine code that activates the reductor built in the Narthesium, so that you might remove his own progenoid glands, that he might yet serve the chapter still. Brother Apothecary Ortis has passed the sacred duty on to you, that you might tend to the injured and recover the gene seed of the dead, as you continue your search for the rest of Squad Scipio. Now, brother, he says with his dying breath, do what must be done. With that, his chin drops onto his chest, and he says nothing more. Enter the clandestine code. Entering the code, you successfully activate the reductor. Without a moment's hesitation, you plunge its whirring drill bit into Ortis' neck. Feeling the clamp teeth bite down on the tough organ, you pull it free. Fortunately, you are able to remove the second progenoid located within the apothecary's chest. Secure both glands in one of the sanctified stasis chambers inside the Narthesium. There is nothing more you can do for Brother Ortis. Okay, we've done this already. Bulk cargo. Yep. So now we can go ahead and search for our other brothers. Hunt down, attempt to join up with Brother Barathon. We're going to go ahead and start from the top here. We're going to search for Brother Kale. Following Brother Kale's signal, you penetrate far into the derelict. You traverse broken, twisted corridors of sheet metal and pass through fissures formed within the accumulated space rock. Sometimes your way is lit by still flickering glow globes, but most of the time you find yourself cloaked in shadow and darkness, forcing you to rely on your own enhanced senses. Forcing you to rely on your own enhanced senses, the auto senses of your Terminator armor, and your searchlight to help you navigate a path through the vast hulk. Slowly, the nondescript corridors, walkways, and rifts give way to some rust-red walls, corridors wide enough to drive a Rhino APC through, and familiar blocky metallic structures. The repeated bas-relief images of cybernetic skulls removes any doubt in your mind as to where you are now. If there had ever been any, you have entered the wreck of a warp-lost vessel of the Adeptus Mechanicus. Acres of grilled decking spreads out before you into a ruddy gloom, permeated by the occasional flickering lumen strip or glow globe. The disturbed dust of ages drifting in their ambient auras. Based on the signal your Auspex is receiving from Brother Kale's battlesuit, he is somewhere within the ancient Ark. But as you progress further into the Mechanicus ship, it soon becomes clear that something is wrong, other than the fact the Ark is now part of a drifting space hulk. There are things growing on the mounds of sludge dripping from various effluent discharges in the walls. The growths look like large fungi, their pointed caps the color of stained copper. Memories implanted inside your head during one of the phases of your initiation into the Imperial Fist chapter mean that you recognize the toadstools for what they are. The fungi or orcoid in origin, part of the savage alien race's reproductive cycle. If allowed to grow to maturity, in time they will produce more of the savage greenskins, or one of the lesser orcoid species. But that will still be troublesome to the Imperium. The only way to eradicate them effectively is to burn them. A heavy flamer would have come in useful. Brother Barathon was carrying one when you teleported. Not that that information is of any use to you right now. I have nothing to burn the fungi enough to eradicate them entirely. You make good progress into the Ark, heading in a southerly direction, keeping one eye on your auspex and Brother Kale's signal at all times. Eventually, you reach a solid wall of reinforced adamantium. At the same time, you lose Kale's signal. You wonder if he's still alive or whether something about the makeup of the part of the vessel is blocking your signal. Either way, you have been heading directly towards the beacon of Brother Kale's signal, but the structure of the ship is now forcing you to take a turning to the east or another to the west. Which is it to be? West. Also, how is there an east or west when we're not on, like, a planet? Anyway, west. You continue to advance further into the Mechanicus Arc, aware that every minute that passes, you are moving further away from Brother Kale's last recorded position. You pass through one great vaulted gallery after another. At last, you run into the orcs who have taken over the vessel. At first, it is a tremor in the deck plates at your feet. Then it is a distant roar, like the battle barge laser lance battery charging, ready to fire. And then finally, the acrid stink of hydrocarbon waste gases assails your heightened olfactory senses. Reaching a grilled hatch cover, you peer through it at the chaos and commotion consuming the colossal cathedral-like hangar below. The air is thick with fumes and the roar of primitive combustion engines. As far as you can tell, going by the crude glyphs daubed on the vehicles of some of the orcs themselves, two rival mobs of greenskins are tearing around the ruined vault of the customized trucks and warbikes. That's fucking awesome. They must have constructed from whatever bits and pieces they could plunder from the Mechanicus vessel. The orcs have created a crude arena in which to race their noxious machines. That's fucking awesome. So we just stumbled upon an orc racetrack, and you can see a stack of Promethean barrels collected to form a fuel dump in its center. Such profane desecration of this ancient Omnissiah-blessed vessel makes your blood seethe with barely contained rage. Cope. You cannot simply stand by and watch as the Xenos continue to desecrate the Ark with their sheer presence. It's like, they're having a silly little race and the Space Marine is like, how dare they! You know? They must be eradicated! Those are your orders, and it will be your pleasure, not just your duty, to fulfill them. Tearing the grill from the bolts holding it in place, you use the projecting cyber skull and cog gargoyles adorning the walls of the vaulted chamber to descend to the floor of the desecrated Manufactorum Cathedral without being spotted by the orcs, who are far too busy driving their customized vehicles around their track at dangerously high speeds. But how will you go about eliminating the Greenskin menace? Well, first we're gonna move, before we move to the next page, actually after we move to the next page, we're gonna go ahead and save. Try taking out the fuel dump to get their attention. The crosshairs of the reticle on your HUD locking onto the fuel dump and bringing it into a super close magnification. You take aim, use my Stormbolter. With a cataclysmic boom, the Promethean tanks detonate, disintegrating as they are consumed by the expanding ball of greasy orange flame that is now rising from the center of the Orc's ramshackle racetrack. Watch them burn. The shockwave from the blast hurls debris, vehicles, and orcs in all direction. You have their attention now. You look to the left. You direct your weapon at the more heavily customized trucks and orcish tanks. Use my Stormbolter. As a tracked vehicle disintegrates in the face of your wrathful onslaught, the orcs of the other squad turn their red-painted warbikes and buggies to join in the attack, using your intervention to their own advantage. As you continue to rake the orc vehicles with weapons fire, a rust-colored buggy collides with a blue-daubed truck. It is not long before that one collision has become a massed pile-up. This is fucking awesome. The rest of the reckless orcs unable to stop their other vehicles in time. So, let me get this straight. A bunch of orcs get stuck on a Space Hulk, which is a mass of thousands of ships slammed together, and instead of trying to escape, they instead decide to convert it into a racetrack. That's fucking awesome. Bikes, trucks, and buggies are all consumed in a rapidly expanding ball of greasy orange flame and choking black smoke as weapons magazines and petrochemical fuel tanks combust in one almighty explosion. Watch them burn. With a throaty engine war, like the guttural bellow of an enraged squiggith, a huge steel and ceramite gun beast emerges. Oh, no, it's literally not like the engine roar. Okay. A ceramite gun beast emerges amidst the roiling flames. It is bedecked with several large bore cannons, while a mob of whooping greenskins hang from its running bars. Some of the smaller specimens are straddling the sponsoring gun positions, its black metal prowess scratched, scorched, and dented by myriad bullet holes, rocket impacts, and damage from head-on collisions with other orcish machines. And it is heading straight for you on clanking treads, its driver clearly intent on grinding you to a pulp beneath its four-axle mounted death roller. Against such a powerful machine, will you stand your ground and Wayne's weapon fire down upon the clanking warbeast with everything you have, or will you run for cover? Stand and face the monstrous machine. Oh. Even as you attempt to fire on the armor-plated battle wagon, the combat can't see your brotherhood on your lips, the mobile fortress crashes into you. Your heavily armored body is sent flying by the jarring collision. You are unconscious even before you hit the ground. I'm still alive, though. You are lying on your back in the desert. Your battle with the core clansmen over. Oh shit, a flashback. You have won, but you are dying nonetheless. You can feel it. And then, there above you in the bleached white sky, you can see a golden angel descending on wings of fire towards the honor arena. Only they aren't wings of fire, and the radiant being isn't an angel. You see it for what it really is, an Imperial Fist Space Marine coming to ground, its jetpack slowing its descent. Only it isn't the roar of the Battle Brothers jetpack you can hear, it's the shrill whine of a circular saw, and then a sympathetic vibration starts up in your armored suit, and your body, bound within it, begins to shudder in sympathy. Opening your eyes, the patch of gray supernovae resolving into shapes before you, you sit up. In response to the simple action, you hear what sounds like a guttural bark of surprise. You are in a dimly lit chamber that feels almost claustrophobic after the last chamber you were in. Standing in front of you, the running power saw, still clutched in one meaty paw, is a large orc with what looks like a pack of heavy tools strapped to its back. It grunts as it regards you with one beady eye, and one eye that in an oversized red lens augmetic. I'm glad you're doing fine. What, did something go wrong? Behind the greenskin, you see several smaller specimens run for the cover of the shadows at the corner of the chamber. It would appear that the orc engineer was attempting to cut you out of your Terminator armor when you came around just in time. With another grunt, the mechanic drops the cutting tool, picks up a power drill, and comes at you. We're going to use our relic blade. Oh, it's over. Busy day and no breaks. Damn, I'm sorry, man. I hope you get some rest. I will save here, and then victory. The mechanic falls to the ground dead, its Gretchen crew running away from the room jabbering in fear. The chamber is full of all manner of metal detritus. Everything from savage toothed gears to what appear to be the cores of the cogitator relay. Cores of cogitator relays. In front of you stands the open archway through which the Gretchen fled. There are no other obvious ways in or out of this room. Let's leave in pursuit of the Gretchen. Okay, let's load a save. Let's 331? Yeah, I guess? No, we don't want that. 710, that's what we want, yes. No, not that one either. Huh. 294? No, not that either. What the hell's with the saves in this game? It's fucking weird. That's totally not where I saved, but whatever. This is kind of bugged. I love that little sword swipe animation, that's great. You dead, bitch. Outside the mechanic's workshop, come loot cache, you find yourself in a passageway that is all exposed cabling and air circulation systems. This in turn leads you to another more brightly lit chamber, but the sight that greets your eyes has you cursing the Xenos to an eternal torment in the warp. Lying upon a slab of cold steel is Brother Kale's corpse. Stripped of his armor, it is quite clear that he is dead, the orc surgeon standing over him having already amputated all of his limbs. The pain boy is now in the process of removing Kale's black carapace from the flesh of his torso. Uncontrollable rage, as hot as the agony of the pain glove, consumes you, focusing your anger and pain into a potent war cry as you launch yourself at the orc. Alright, focus. Attack. Attack. Magic pain glove. How do I get home? I knew it would pull this shit again. God damn it. Yeah, why is it all random? Like, the sequence of numbers is seemingly completely random. Okay, it's always the bottom. The pain boy is dead. You turn your attention to the violated cadaver of your battle brother. No Imperial fish should be forced to endure such a noble end as this. Brother Kale's armor lies abandoned in one corner of the room, discarded like so much trash, along with one of his mighty lightning claws. You have no idea where the second one is. The close combat weapon is a truly magnificent armament, each of its long finger blades painstakingly etched with the scenes of Imperial Fist defense of the palace of the Emperor on Terra. That's awesome. You pick up Brother Kale's and Lightning Claw? Yeah, absolutely. Use the Lightning Claw, yes. There is one more thing you might be able to do for Kale, and that is recover his gene seed. But, did Ordis show you how to use his redactor before he died? Use the clandestine cone to activate the redactor. Yep. You enter the code and successfully activate the reductor. Since Brother Kale has already been stripped of his armor, it is a straightforward matter to extract his progenoid glands, storing the two grisly lumps in their own stasis chamber inside Brother Ordis' narthecium. We purge the Mechanicus Arc of the Xenos infestation. There is nothing more you can do for Brother Kale now. The loss of his suit of tactical dreadnought armor is one that you and your battle brothers will have to avenge at a later date. What matters now is that you purge the Mechanicus Art of its Xenos infestation and do all you can to regroup with the rest of Squad Scipio. Your weapons primed, ready to bring the Emperor's wrath down upon the heads of the Greenskins, you exit the Pain Boy's laboratory cum abattoir, sending a swarm of small gribbly things scurrying and hopping before you. Turning a corner, you suddenly find yourself on a protruding platform that looks out over the vast vault beyond, and the sight that greets your eyes has you staring in appalled horror at the totem titan being constructed within the great hangar space. The hangar is alive with activity, and it is all focused around the vast alien idol that has been constructed on the far side. To say that it is akin to one of the Cyclopean fighting machines of the Legiones Titanicus would be blasphemously disrespectful to the ancient god machines of the Adeptus Mechanicus. The Stompa, as the orcs refer to these monstrous devices, bristles with a host of primitive, yet lethally effective weaponry. The interlocking plates of its cobbled-together hull have been daubed with brutish symbols, adorned with ugly totemic devices. A host of orcs teem at its feet, while dozens of Gretchens scurry over every part of it. The Mini Guardian is the likeness of one of the orc savage deities, and to think that it has been constructed from the cannibalized wreck of a noble ark of the Adeptus Mechanicus has you swearing an oath of moment that, even if it is the last service you perform in the name of the Emperor, you will destroy it. Descending from the platform via a service ramp, you charge into battle, targeting the nearest of the Greenskins. Let's go! Pop. Sweet them boys! Damn you. God, fuck the Stormbolter. Finally, shit. Make him use up his turns to come get me. Hell yeah. Crit. Woohoo! Alright. A squad of Imperial Fist Terminators may be more than a match for a fully armed Orc Battle Fortress or even a feral Chaos Warhound Titan, but there is only one way you can bring the Stomper down. If only you had found some backup earlier, your job would have certainly been a lot easier. Orc war machines are notorious for their unsafe construction and the implementation of unstable energy sources by their mech boys. If you could get on board and overload the Stompa's power plant, that would surely initiate a catastrophic chain reaction that would result in the mini Gargant being blown to smithereens. So, like, this right here, and, like, one of the things that this and the Horus Heresy gets really, really right is the level of power that a single Space Marine has. And it's one of the reasons why I'm personally not a fan of the size of Space Marine armies on the tabletop. I don't think they're very lore accurate. Oh, you delayed your birthday because it was right before Stevel Run? That's hilarious, Ghost. Also, I'm glad you're enjoying this. But basically, there are these one-man armies that are badasses, and typically what you want to do with a Space Marine story is to have as few of them as possible, dealing with the worst odds they possibly can. And that's what the Horus Heresy gets so right. Is, like, a lot of people complain, like, oh, Space Marines are far less relatable than the Guardsmen. And yeah, and the reason why people say that is because they're oftentimes experiencing stories or they're playing games on the tabletop that don't resemble real Space Marine lore. Space Marine lore and good Space Marine stories are about the Adeptus Astartes facing down impossible odds and overcoming. It's similar to, like, writing a Captain America story. You don't put an army of worthless... You don't, like, have Captain America fighting alongside a million other Captain Americas, or Master Chief fighting alongside a million other Master Chiefs. Those stories are at their best when it's about those characters, those superpowered characters, facing down impossible odds. Guardsman stories, on the other hand, are more for that sort of thing. And that's why, personally, I think the army sizes of the Space Marines should be reduced to better resemble the lore, because it's giving a lot of people a big misunderstanding of how they actually operate in lore. They're like knights in space. So typically a Space Marine team will be between 1 and like 8 of them going on a mission. A full team, deploying a full squad of Space Marines is typically a very big deal, you know? And if you are going to deploy a full Space Marine army, it's not going to be all of them fighting on the same field at the same time. It's going to be, you drop a tactical squad over here, you drop a assault squad here, teleport the Terminators in over here, send a Dreadnought over here, and attacking from multiple sides to destroy an enemy. They're the scalpels of the Emperor. Gotta remember that. They're not meant to be... They're not... Well, they were originally Legion, but eventually they were supposed to become the scalpel of the Emperor. Anyway, a squad of Imperial Fist Terminators may be more than a match for a fully armed Orc Battle Fortress or even a feral Chaos Warhound Titan, but there is only one way you can bring down this Stompa alone. Orc war machines are... Oh yeah, I already did this. Okay. Only one question remains. How do you plan to get on board the Stompa while the mass rank of the Orc host stand between it and you? Let's try to create a distraction of some sort. Let's try to play this part. Amongst the other detritus littering the once magnificent Titan hangar are the armaments the Orcs are still in the process of loading onto the mighty war machine. Use my Stormbolter. Training your weapons fire on a gurney loaded with missiles, painted with snarling fanged faces. If people see like a guardsman. You know what? Actually, I got a video to play for you guys. I don't think I've ever shown this to you. It's one of my favorite 40k animations. If you want to know what most battlefields of the Imperium are like, it's like this. This is an amazing video, by the way, by Dragon Saint. Because sure, let's do some 40K lore gushing while we're here. This is literally me, the video.
It's a Guardsman's life for us. It's a Guardsman's life for us.
Being eaten by a lictor. We get shot. It's a Guardsman's life. Yep. Ah, oh, Jesus. Grabbed by a Genestealer. Eldar just slices you up.
Don't it seem like the armor never fits? Every day there's another execution. And Space Marines take all the credit.
You just got bayonet the fucking Chaos Knight.
No one cares if you live or if you die.
Yeah. Caught in a warp rift.
Grim dark life. No peace life.
I love Valkyrie gunships. They're so
No
fucking cool.
respite life. Only war life. Emperor we never see. Emperor, what's that? Who's he? Victory or defeat? For the grinder, you're just meat. It's the Guardsman's life.
This is my 40K stream, and that means you're going to listen and learn. Oops! Yeah, Horn Berserker.
It's the Guardsman's
Drop
life.
Troopers.
It's the Guardsman's
6 minutes. That's the average life expectancy of a guardsman.
Instead of armor, we get shot.
Why would you bayonet that thing?
It's the Guardsman's life for us.
I love Hotshot Lazarus.
Good
on them for including the Votan.
When you're a white shield kid, it's the Guardsman's life. It's the Guardsman's life.
Hey, I survived! Yeah! Oh, here comes the Cyclonic Torpedo. Fucking assholes. Hey, by the way, Inquisitors that do that shit are fucking hated by the Inquisition. Like, they do not want they don't want Inquisitors or anyone constantly exterminating planets, because, like, typically the thing in 40K is when you lose, like, losses are typically less important than are in other settings. Like, losing a million people die. It doesn't matter in the 40K. It doesn't matter in 40K. Losing a planet isn't just losing the people, you're losing the infrastructure, you're losing all the natural resources. So if you pop an Exterminatus, you need to have a really, really, really good reason for doing it. And both Space Marines and Inquisitors are some of the very few people in the Imperium that are allowed to declare Exterminatus on a planet. However, you tend not to want to do that if you want to keep what you're doing, because if you Exterminatus too much, you're going to get the Inquisition after you, assassins are going to be sent to kill you, that sort of thing. Training your weapons fire on a gurney loaded with missiles painted with snarling, fanged faces. You watch in satisfaction as the rockets touch off. Warheads ignite in a display of noisy pyrotechnics while some of the missiles whiz about the hangar on contrails of dirty black smoke, impacting either against the hull of the mini Gargant itself or amidst the green-skinned Thrawn. It is all the distraction you needed. With the orcs and Gretchen milling about in confusion under the cover of the exploding rockets, and thick pall of smoke settling over the hangar, you make for the Stompa. Guardsman that lives for 7 minutes? Yo. Hey, we've been deployed. Set your watch. Yep. Victory. Yep. Distraction. Stormbolter. Get inside. Alright. Smashing aside fleeing Gretchen, you mount the mini Gargant's rear boarding ramp and enter the oily, stinking, smoky, and most of all noisy interior of the Stompa. Bolted together sections of huge pipes that were probably once part of the Ark's ventilation system lead both up and down through the ramshackle structure of the mechanized alien idol. But where is the war machine's power plant located? It'd probably be down in the belly, right? Let's just say belly. Let's head down into the belly of the beast. The deeper you go, the hotter and more oppressive the atmosphere within the mini Gargant becomes. And there you are, in the guts of the machine, in what passes for a generatorium within the Orc God engine, with the crude riveted iron sphere of its power core in front of you. Before you are able to put the Stompa out of action by overloading its power plant, you are going to have to get past the Orc mechanic and the gang of Gretchen that is struggling to keep the Stompa systems operational. There is a high chance you could cause the Gretchens to flee, should you take down the Mechaniac first. Yeah, we'll try to take on the Mechaniac. Also, I think all of these Gretchen, like, are using, they're using a pretty famous Gretchen model pose. Guardsman that lives for 7 minutes. That's super funny to me. Because, like, yeah, like, oh my god, I'm the 8-minute guardsman. Whoa. Thank you. Fuck. That Storm Bolter is not very effective. It feels close to like tabletop bolters and how the bolter is like very portrayed as being very underpowered on the tabletop. Which really bums me out. Good, he's done. Yes, the fight is over. I love the echo, that's great. Victory! Breathing hard after your battle with the Greenskins, you take a moment to study the crude controls for the Stompa's power plant. They make little sense to you, and not being party to the secrets of the Cult Mechanicus, you are forced to come up with your own solution to the problem of how to overload the Mini Gargant's energy core. Grabbing hold of anything you can to get your Power Fist augmented hands on, you tear the reactor core open. At your brutal attack, the lightning in the belly chamber becomes suffused with a ruddy glow, and somewhere a klaxon begins to sound. As smoke and steam burst from rattling ruptured pipework, you realize that you have succeeded in what you set out to do. The entire structure of the Stompa is shuddering, even breaking apart in places as you make your escape. You barge past startled Orcs and Gretchen as they stare at the quaking Stompa in bewilderment. Fist, fist, fist! Flee the Stompa! Pounding down the access ramp and out of the Stompa, you ran slap-bang into a hulking brute of an Orc, howling its fury at you. The beast comes at you with a massive chain-tooth axe in its hand. Warning, Orc Ardboy must be defeated in 3 rounds. Alright, yeah, we're just gonna go hard into the close combat. There's no time! Whew! Got it. Alright, we're gonna save here, and I gotta go we're gonna go ahead and take a 5-minute break, and then I'll be back. Alright, see you guys in 5. power scalers hate to see me with my he can't beat Takamura though. And they're like, who's Takamura? Alright, break time over. I want to start actually doing breaks while I stream from now on to not, you know, horribly exhaust myself and keep the energy and vibes up for the longer streams. Victory! You reach the way out of the Titan hangar as the Stompa's power core goes critical. You hear the detonation of its fission reactor and then nothing else as the furious roar of the massive explosion subsumes everything else. Not daring to look back, even for a nanosecond, you keep running. The auto senses in your helm alerting you to the approaching firestorm with clacks and screams. The passageway you are running down narrows as you near the sealed bulkhead door at its end, and then, mercifully, the door's machine spirit awakens. With a hiss of compressed gas and the accompanying echoing clang of steel, the door opens. You throw yourself through, slamming a palm on the closing mechanism on the other side before the roiling flame catches up with you. You have done it. Through your attacks, the Orc Stompa has been destroyed and the Orc host along with it. You gain 3 purity. Did you manage to eradicate the patches of Orcoid fungus encountered upon first entering the Mechanicus Ark? No, the Bear Killer Eagle, the best boxer known to man. No, I did not eradicate the fungus. Did I switch it over, or am I still on standby? Okay, no, I'm not. Good. As you make your way back to the entrance of the Mechanicus vessel, a number of returns ping on your auspex. At first, through your HUD, they look like nothing more than fleeting shadows moving in the preternatural gloom. But then one hops into view. Little more than a huge mouth crammed with blunt ivory tusks, the squig has a rapacious appetite and a belligerence to match, as do the other 5 that are now moving towards you. Even though you are fully armored, the squigs still seem to believe they can make a meal of you, and with teeth hard enough to bite through steel plate, they might just be right. Through steel? Compared to ceramite? I don't know, man. Alright, so what we're gonna do is withdraw as far back as we can. Every turn we're gonna withdraw at least 1 space to stop them from getting close to us. So withdraw, shoot, shoot. Damn it. Bill, the Bear Killer, the Eagle. Is he an American? I'm curious. Stand and fight. Okay. Stand and deliver. Can I use... No, I have to click. You can. This feels like a tablet game. This started as a tablet game, in case you haven't. In case you're wondering. Can I hit with my sword? Not yet. Okay. There we are. Yes. Tree training. No, not Takamura. Oh. Oh. Okay. I see. That's also his name. I thought it was a different character you were talking about. My bad. There is nothing else to be done here. Brother Kale may be dead and gone, but there still may yet be survivors of Squad Scipio still out there, lost somewhere within the Xenos haunted depths of the Herald of Oblivion. Further explore the Herald of Oblivion? You now know the fate of the Apothecary Ortis, as well as what befell Brother Kale. But which of your brothers within Squad Scipio will you go in search of now? Double-checking the readings you received from your auspex, pinpointing your battle brothers' locations within the Hulk, you see that there is still no indication of Sergeant Valerius' presence aboard the Herald of Oblivion. I will go after Brother Barathon. The route you are taking through the Hulk leads you continually downwards, or at least what passes for down within the warped gravity fields of the massive derelict, until, judging by the Aquila and other holy iconography you see all about you, you find yourself in the guts of some long-lost pilgrim vessel. but your suspicions are immediately aroused when you see the icon of the ecclesiarchy when you see that the icons of the ecclesiarchy have been daubed with much cruder totem symbols and what appears to be some form of green paint. It is not uncommon for the bilges of Imperial spacefaring vessels to support whole communities, what are effectively makeshift shantytowns, but what you find as you progress through this part of the Hulk doesn't look like a human settlement, so much as an orcish one. Hey Vea, how you doing? Okay, don't leave without telling me, okay? Alrighty. My purity score is equal to or greater than 9. Hey, we have fish sticks in the freezer if you want some. They're really good. Yeah. I can make them if you don't feel like it. You don't know, but you sense that something isn't right. You bring your plotting advance to an abrupt stop a split second before the stack of metal debris to your left comes crashing down right in front of you. If you had not halted, you would have been buried under tons of steel scrap. Move around the piles of scrap. Clear of the scrap heap, you ready your weapons. You don't believe for one moment that the stack collapse was an accident, and then an ululating cry reverberates from the tower of metal debris through the bilges of the pilgrim ship. Whoa! Your first instinct is that there is another community of orcs lurking down there, and they are closing in for the kill, now that their trap has been sprung. But there's something strange about the bellowed war cry. The pitch is too high. It isn't long before you discover why. No shit! Okay, listen to this shit. It isn't long before you discover why. Splashing through the stinking morass of the bilges is a mob of humanoid creatures clad in rough oddments of metal armor, their bodies daubed with blue war paint, while their faces are hidden behind jutting metal jaws and steel skull domes. They are not orcs. They're humans, or at least they once were. From the sores on their arms, the patches of scaly skin, and the occasional extraneous limb there amongst the mob, it is quite clear that they are mutants. Oh, I thought they were going to do Digonobs. Digonobs are... One second. They are really funny, actually. So, let me see if I can get a good picture of one. Basically, they're humans who want to be orcs. They are humans who, like, live alongside orcs and, like, are part of orc culture and shit. I'm trying to find a good picture of one. Here we are. Orc-loving human civilization. And they live on Gorka Morka, which is an orc planet. Game capture, Chrome capture. Here we are. It also sounds... Yeah, see, they're humans who paint... They fight in green face. I thought... And I think that's what we're running into right now. I thought that's what we were going to run into. Imagine you're a guardsman and then you hear, work, work, it's all over. Oh, man, for real. For real. Something need doing? How many generations must have passed since the pilgrim vessel first became lodged within the Herald of Oblivion for its passengers to degenerate to such a state, not only for them to become mutants, but for them to turn their backs on the Imperial creed and start emulating the more powerful alien greenskins? Yeah, they are Digonobs. It is your holy duty to release them from this state of pitiful existence. Nice. Oh, is that fucking Greenface, dude? Like, no, I'm a demon. I'm back. They have bolt weapons? No, they can't. I mean, they totally could, I think they're just reusing the sound effect. I like this game so far, this is fun. Like, I like this kind of, like, combination of JRPG and fucking text adventure. It's super good. If more text adventures had battle systems like this, I'd probably play them. Like, okay, here's what's up. you can make text adventures nowadays. That's fine, but you gotta make one with spice. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So you've seen this whole game. It has a really cool aesthetic. Let's look up some of the Vampire the Masquerade text adventures on Steam right now. So this is one titled Vampire the Masquerade Night Road. Now tell me, does this font or text look anything like it belongs in a world titled Vampire the Masquerade? One sec. Like, you can make text adventures and sell them on Steam for money. Go for it. But you can't make a sauceless text adventure on Steam and sell it for money. This is fucking stupid. Like, there's nothing about the Vampire the Masquerade aesthetic that comes through this at all. Like, why... Like, you're charging money for what is ostensibly a branching Google Doc at this point. It needs to have pizzazz. It needs to have spice. It can't just be a fucking Google Doc. Lisan al-Gaib. Yeah, hell yeah. A Dune text adventure must have spice. I can't wait to start playing the Dune games. I'm super excited. Victory squee! I love the Thunderhammer. You cannot believe that there are only 6 mutants living in such a sorry, inhuman state within the Bilges. Everything else you have seen so far, from the daubed orcish glyphs to what you now realize were crude debris idols, suggests to you that there must be a settlement of some kind nearby. Go in search of the mutants' camp? Yeah, I'm gonna... You know what? This is tough. I'm gonna click this one, but if I lose anything, I'm reloading my save. Sand just randomly rushes by the screen. Honestly, a Dune text adventure, I would want it to be like in some sort of papyrus. Like, I wouldn't want it to be on a screen, because Dune is a setting that doesn't have computers, because they're so afraid of AI. So I would want it to be on like a papyrus screen with the sound of like a respirator in the background, and like kind of like Arabic style music playing with like a mystical, give it like a mystical tone. Like, basically what you want is just like Arabian Nights with sci-fi tech. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and click the second one. Determined not to be distracted from your task of finding Brother Barathon, you press on through the bilges. Fist, skull! Alright, nothing of note happens. After wading through the collected muck of centuries, you finally emerge from the bilges, climbing a mound of molten metal slag that turns lead to a gaping hole in the side of the pilgrim vessel. You pass through the rent in the caravan carved out of the inside of a splintered asteroid. Further explore the Herald of Oblivion. Oh, cool. Okay, so this is where we died last time. I use my lightning claw to grab a hold of something. Your armored fist closes around the rim of an oily steel bulkhead, and you hang on for dear life, reciting a chant of holy contrition over and over again. You think turn-based is good for Dune combat with its slowing shield things? The real answer is real-time with pause. But I actually don't know. I need to play some of the Dune games before I say, because all the Dune games are RTS games. They're like real-time strategy games, like Warcraft or Dawn of War, StarCraft. I think, like, okay, let's put it this way. Ideally, the best Dune video game, the definitive best Dune video game, would be about surviving on Arrakis, and it would be an immersive sim VR game. Because, for 2 reasons. One, there's a heavy amount of what decides your power level in Dune compared to other sci-fi universes is how good are you at surviving in the desert. So survival should always be a major game mechanic of playing a Dune game. Secondly, the only thing that is going to be able to give you the necessary, I guess, gameplay of slipping a blade through the shield is going to be VR. However, And not to mention there's things like weirding weapons, which require voice commands and will. And so having a built-in microphone would require that as well. That would be my ideal Dune game. But I still need to play all the RTS games and see if I like them. You could pretty much just do Dune like normal D&D style combat. So you could do turn-based or real-time with pause. Dice roll combat would work just fine. Because ultimately the shields are the same as wearing armor, but it's reversed. Armor, the harder and the sharper the blow, the more effectively it'll pass through the armor or the shield. But in Dune, it's all about self-control, it's all about stability. You have to slowly get the blade to pierce the shield, but if you go too slow, your enemy might just parry you and retaliate. So the best warriors in Dune for blade on shield combat are ones who have mastered self-control. So yeah, real time with pause or turn-based would be just fine. You could just treat it like normal melee combat in like a D&D style game. The only thing you would really need to change is the animations, but you wouldn't even have to do that because 90% of those games combat happens, like a huge chunk of those games combats happen in your imagination. But for a proper Dune game, VR. Like if you're playing as a single person in Dune rather than commanding an army, VR is totally the way to go. It's the only kind of control I could really think of aside from like the Wii or the Nintendo DS that would allow you to simulate the slow blade piercing the shield. Your armored fist closes around. Okay. As the pressures on your body ease, you are able to haul yourself over to the nearest bulkhead hatch. Punching the door release, you breathe a prayer of thanks to the Primarch as it grinds open. Fighting the torrent of atmosphere being sucked from the space beyond, you make it through the portal and slam your hand down on the closing mechanism. Finally, a use for Feng Shui, old people yoga. That's not what Feng Shui is. That is not what... Oh... You're thinking of Tai Chi, and yes, it is very akin to Tai Chi. Feng Shui is what that creepy old dude in part 6 uses when fighting Jolene, and it is surprisingly fucking effective against Stone Free, which is mind-blowing to me. It shuts with a hollow clang, leaving you lying on the floor of an access tunnel, recovering your own breath for a few moments. Tai Chi finally has a use. Continue my way through the hall. Brother Barathon's signal remains strong as you force a path through the derelict, scrambling over fallen Cyclopean statuary, crossing the yawning gulf of an inert plasma drive, by a means of a twisted girder that is as long as a Titan is tall, and scaling the corrosion-pitted face of a Prometheum tanker's hull, until you at last find yourself walking along a processional avenue. It is wide enough for 2 Lehman Russ tanks to pass along abreast, and is lined with obelisks that appear to be cut from a strange black stone that seems to grow from an inner green luminescence. Oh shit, is that Necron tech? Huh. Being a mighty Terminator Space Marine of the Imperial Fist chapter, you do not feel fear, but you have to admit to a certain amount of trepidation as you approach the yawning portal at the end of the avenue. It is carved from the same gleaming stone as the obelisks, and for some reason reminds you of one of those sepulchre worlds of the Imperium you have visited, but it is not the alien material from which the gateway is formed that unsettles you the most, nor the fact that the portal appears large enough to admit a god. My Feng Shui is off, that's why I messed up, for real. No, Feng Shui is largely used for interior decorating nowadays, but there's actually a full, like, RimWorld style game that's like colony simulation, but it's a ancient Chinese colony, and Feng Shui is like one of the game's main mechanics. So matching up certain buildings in certain directions to suit certain elements, depending on how you arrange furniture and things in the game, actually affects how effective everything is. But it is not the alien material from which the gateway is for. Okay, is the fact that held within it, in defiance of gravity, is a pool of liquid. Ooh! Its rippling surface scattering the light from your suit's searchlight across the canyon of the processional avenue. Your auspex return starts to crackle and falter, no doubt thanks to being so close to the gravitic distortion caused by the pool. thanks to memories planted by the indoctrination machines aboard the Phalanx, you know that you are standing at the entrance to a tombship of the Necron Tier, a race of beings ancient beyond reckoning, who were once the undisputed rulers of the galaxy. Yep, pre-Eldar, actually. And pre-humanity, of course. And yet, as far as you can tell, although your Auspex is malfunctioning more and more by the second, Brother Barathon lies somewhere within. So, it is a Necron Tier, but I kind of want to point out one of the things I really like about like Astartes, and specifically the Eisenhorn books as well as The Watcher and the Rain, is that 40k has a problem with chaos and with a lot of its alien races. Hey, Birdcage7, how you doing? Good to see you. We're just talking about 40k lore and stuff. But the issue with chaos is it's well known at this point. Everyone knows how chaos works. Everyone knows how the Necrons work, how the Tyranids work. Everyone knows how these things work. So I actually really like it when Warhammer stories introduce a new, smaller, like a new threat or a smaller threat. Like, one of my ideas I had for a 40k game is a... oh, I'm sorry, Ghost. I know that exact feeling, though. But yeah, one of my 40k dream games is basically Bloodborne, but you play as an Inquisitor. And the entire game would be about waking up as an Inquisitor with an amnesia and fighting chaos on a Imperial hive world. However, as you go throughout the game, you realize there's another faction that Chaos is fighting. Because that's typically what 40k games do. They have the initial race that you fight, and then the Act 2 plot twist. In Dawn of War, it was Orcs and then Chaos. In Dawn of War 2, it was Orcs and then Tyranids. In Dark Crusade, it was in Winter Assault, it was Orcs and then Necrons. It's usually Orcs first and then enemy. And then in the Space Marine, it was Orcs and then Chaos. So I was like, I would love to do Chaos and then something, and basically build up a threat that Chaos is afraid of. And I think Malice would make a really good use of it. I actually really like Malice as the 5th Chaos God, or another lesser Chaos God that doesn't have an army, it doesn't have a faction, it doesn't fight, it doesn't need humans. It is a force of nihilism. And I would love to actually make the game about that. Which would lead to you actually maybe even working alongside Chaos if you gather enough corruption. Like maybe have certain NPCs attack you on sight or speak to you depending on how corrupt you are. I'll be honest, I actually need to learn how to write up a game design document because I have so many cool game ideas in my head, and I'd love to do a stream where I just talk about them. Anyway. Turn back while I still can before battle. Okay, let's attempt to pass through the portal pool and see where it takes me. You take a step towards the shimmering portal and then pause, taking a moment to compose yourself. When you are ready with your very next step, you pass through it. Your suit's auto senses scream with static distortion, and you feel inexplicable frozen right down to the marrow in your bones. Then you emerge on the other side of a quicksilver pool. But where are you? Also, that's why I love Astartes, is that they're clearly against some sort of otherworldly force that humans are worshipping, but it doesn't seem to be any chaos god. It's some other unknowable Lovecraftian entity. The chamber appears to be made of the same black mineral as the processional avenue. However, set into the green-tinged obsidian are the geometric patterns of gold and silver filigree circuitry. The alien sigils and hieroglyphs are everywhere, running in long streams as if in mockery of the binaric language of the tech priests of Mars. Even though you know this strange script predates that of almost any other civilization in the galaxy by tens of millions of years. You check your Auspex again, but whatever it was that was interfering with its signal before is persisting now that you are inside the sepulchral tombship. If it looked like Nietzsche, yeah, that'd be great. I actually have I have several video ideas on the tin that I want to make, but I want to, before I make any other videos, I want to make sure I get the Yakuza video and the other highlight videos out. But yeah, there's one about, I actually want to make one about the reason why the Imperial Truth, or the Imperial Creed, the Imperial Religion in 40k still has value despite being based upon lies. And despite it being based upon bullshit. Like, it was just around, always. Even pre-Nietzsche. The runes demarcating the positions of your fellow battle brothers throughout the derelict have been wiped from the scanner. You do what you can to appease the device's vexed machine spirit, and before it cuts out altogether, one final scan locates 10 nodal points. These are connected by a maze of passageways, but just before your Auspex dies altogether, in position of several of these seem to shift and change, as if the laws of time and space inside the Necrontyr vessel do not mean what they do in the physical universe. Curiously, but fortunately, your helm's internal compass is still operational. Nietzsche.exe. As if some massive electrical force is creating its own magnetic field, by means of which you will be able to navigate your way through the tomb ship. Before you stands the shimmering portal by which you enter the silent sepulchral craft. In front of you is nothing but a wall of black marble and net with sunken hieroglyph circuitry. The only routes open to you to leave this chamber by the green glowing passageway heading east or the opposite counterpart in the west. Let's go east. Oh, west. Let's go west, actually. It said west. The passageway leads to a hollow pyramidal chamber. This point is designated as Node 1 by your Auspex. Examine the chamber. Accompanied by an almost imperceptible robotic whirring, what is clearly a weapon mount tracks your movements as you breach the chamber. At the same time, the crystal prisms within it begin to glow with a sinister emerald light. You are in no doubt that the weapon is charging in readiness to fire. There are only two ways out of the chamber, through an archway in the north wall and another to the east. Let's try to leave the chamber. I'm going to get shot no matter what. So I think... Let's go ahead and try to take it out at range. No! Even as you fix the weapon in your sights, it fires a burst of lethal emerald energy caught directly within the beam of a Gauss flux art. That would be out of place mounted. Not be out of place mounted on a Necron monolith. Damn! First your armor and then your Genhan's flesh is stripped away. One layer of molecules at a time, as everything that makes you is broken down into its constituent atoms in a matter of seconds. Your adventure is at an end. Well, fuck. See where it takes me. Save here. Okay. Oh! Shit. Wait a minute, what? Head west. Let's get out as quick as possible. Moving as quickly as your Terminator armor will allow you make for an exit, praying the Emperor is watching your progress now with beneficent eyes. Okay, that might be the end. If we hit another fucking black screen, that's the end of the playthrough. Because if I can't save and reload previous saves, I can't move forward. Because of the bug. The Emperor is clearly smiling upon your endeavors this day. The potentially lethal beam of molecule-shredding Gauss energy misses you by a hair's breadth, and you manage to escape the chamber unharmed. Which exit were you aiming for? Exit to the north. The silence within the tomb ship is unnerving. It is so quiet, it's almost as if there was some kind of dampener field in operation, suppressing any and all sounds whatsoever. In time, you reach a crossroads, but which way will you head now? West. The passageway widens, becoming a high-ceiling gallery lined with darkened alcoves. This is Node 4. In each and every one of the niches is a... In every one of the niches... Oh no! In each and every one of the niches is a skeletal figure, a metallic mockery of a man, an embodiment of the archetypical image of death itself. Go west, and then death will die. And rightly so, for these are the deathless warriors of the Necrontyr, who gave up their flesh and blood forms millions of years ago in service of the star gods they worshipped. Hey, question. Hey, narrator. How the fuck does my character know that? That's not common knowledge. As you make your way through the gallery, your weapon in hand, half suspecting what might be coming next, the silvered skeletons jerk into life and, moving as one, step down from their alcoves. They march towards you, their archaic weapons grazed by the patina of countless millennia. These same weapons crackle with pulsating green light as they re-energize, no doubt for the first time in unnumbered eons. I just realized the U is the Ultramarines U. Army of tiny Nietzsches, call that bad company. Damn, yeah, fuck that. The tomb ship's guardians have awoken, and you must fight them if you to escape from this place alive. Alright, Necron warriors, how I like to deal with them is the same way I like to deal... same way I like to deal with the Tau. Get in there. Gotta get in there and start smashing. Because those Gauss weapons will hit you, no matter what. And so all you can really do is close the distance and force them to fight you in a way that makes them uncomfortable. Wait a minute. Well, you guys don't have melee attacks? What the fuck? Okay, so in Mechanicus, you want to close the distance on these guys because they don't have melee attacks. I guess I'd rather deal with their shit melee than have to deal with Gauss weapons hitting me from a distance. At least I do believe they have some sort of melee, but I don't think they're very good at it. And at least they don't have it in Mechanicus. Which, God, I want to play that game on stream so bad. That game's fucking awesome. You dead. Alright, can't save again. The Undying Warriors are still, their component parts scattered across the metal stone floor of the chamber. There is nothing for you here, and there are only two ways out of the echoing vault. Through an archway to the east, or a portal to the opposite end of the guarded gallery to the west. Let's take the western portal. It is not long before you find yourself entering another crypt-like space. This is Node 9. Examine the chamber. The chamber is octagonal in shape with more of the ancient circular, semicircular, and linear patterns of the Necron circuitry adorning its walls. Set into marble-like substances of which the floor is composed are conduits that radiate with more intense form of the light that seems to permeate every passageway and compartment of the labyrinthine vessel. These power conduits connect to a crystalline structure at the center of the chamber. It looks like a huge green diamond, all light-refracting fractal facet paths and 2 meters in diameter, set within a plinth composed of the same metal stone material as much of the rest of the tomb ship. The emerald light pulsing from the huge crystal makes you feel cold to your very core. For some inexplicable reason, it is as if your subconscious mind is trying to tell you there is something very wrong here, and to beware. But you are not a tech marine initiated in the ways of the priesthood of Mars, and so there is very little you can actually do here. Let's open fire on the crystal. Why would I do that? That seems like a... Hold on. My subconscious mind. No, that seems like a way to die. We're going to leave this chamber. Let's go to the north portal. The passage turns sharply to the west, forcing you to go in this direction now. The carved corridors you're following soon turns into a crossroads. We're going to go north. You emerge from the sepulchral passageway into a strangely unadorned chamber, its obsidian walls unobscured by any carving of gold, or any carving or gold filigree hieroglyphs. What you see as you enter the chamber brings you to a sudden halt. In the eastern wall there stands a gigantic portal, 10 meters high and almost as much across. This is adorned with all manner of Necron tier cartouche motherboards and golden hieroglyph circuitry, but as you stare into the portal, you see yourself. You take a step closer into the archway and your mirror image does the same, and at that moment a ripple passes through the surface of the reflecting pool, held within the portal in defiance of gravity. It is similar to the one by which you first entered the Necron tomb ship. Could it possibly be a way out? Other than for the dark mirror portal, there are two other ways out of this chamber, one via smaller archways in the southern and western walls. We're going to go ahead and leave through the portal. You hesitate for a moment before the portal, but then you put your best foot forward, your next bold stride taking you through it, and your boots crunch down on black pyroclast. You scan the vista before you, barely able to believe what you are seeing. You are no longer on board the Herald of Oblivion. Instead, you are standing on the slopes of a dormant volcano. Behind you stands a portal just like the one you passed through aboard the tomb ship. But before you lies a kilometer after kilometer of undulating black sand dunes, and under a night sky dotted with a million pinpricks of light, the dynasties of the Necron tier are massing for war. In the shadow of the Cyclopean statuary and vast stasis tomb complexes, you see floating monolithic skimmers. Patrols of small floating platforms fused with Necron bodies prowl the lifeless desert, while packs of feral clawed monstrosities skulk in the shadows of crumbling mausoleum structures. You see many different types of Necron warriors being herded by ornate barks that bear their golden-clad commanders, whilst immense creatures that stalk like enormous metal spiders move between them. In the sky overhead, the abyssal black silhouettes of the tomb ships are harried by the darting shapes of smaller cruisers. You are hundreds of light years from the Sargon system and the Space Hulk. And after decades of fighting for the Emperor, you possess the wisdom to know when you have met your match. You turn back ready to enter the portal in the lost tomb ship once again, but you see to your horror that the Quicksilver Pool is gone. The dimensional gateway is closed. There is no going back. On this crown world of the Necrontyr, you will meet your end, like the billions of doomed souls who died here 64,000 millennia ago. Your adventure is at an end. So here's what's up. I can't load my fucking save and get all that progress back. I have to go through a fight again, and I don't want to start the whole fucking playthrough over again. So I think we're going to go ahead and call it here. This is a good game. It's just very buggy, and I hope that it gets the support it needs from the fan base or from GW, and I hope it gets re-released. My progress is saved, so if it ever gets any sort of mod or help that I'm made aware of and that I can use to fix the game, we'll go ahead and continue. But with the bugs and with the weird save limitations, I do not wish to progress further at this point. Why is there a fucking hard data file limit? That's fucking stupid. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. This was pretty fun. Thank you all for watching, and next week we'll be playing a Kirby game, so that'll be fun. I hope you all had a wonderful time, and if you're new here and you enjoyed the stream, be sure to follow. If you want to see more from me, or if you just want to hang out, be sure to join the Discord via the link down below. And finally, if you want to support the stream and help it grow and help us achieve our goal, you should subscribe, but maybe you should wait, because this Friday we are doing the Sims 4 Subathon again. Meaning that if you subscribe then, and show up in chat, you will be added to a list, and when it comes to be your turn, you will get your own sim made, and you'll get to be part of the household. Every subscription adds time to the stream, but also makes it so that you can make your own sim. All that being said, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here and find someone to raid. Cool game, a bit too buggy. Hopefully, in the future, we will find a way to play it in a way that is not busted. So, like any game that I drop because of bugginess, we will go ahead and add this game to the category on my Steam library known as Why Won't You Work? Because it doesn't work. And we will remove it from the single player and stream categories. Oh cool, Magos Red's playing Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2. We'll go ahead and raid him. Oh, he's playing as the Tech Marine, that's cool. Alright guys, thank you for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. We'll be playing WoW. Super excited to see you. Take care, my friends.
Summon in 3 hell boots at the same time.
No.
Oh my.
Did you do something wrong? Something you thought you might get away with? The corrupt are going to see. It's coming to you from the monsters.
The Bride, rated R, only in theaters Friday.
Let's talk Panera's new Mix and Match menu. Choose 2 or more, it's just $4.99 each. Hold up, is that soppressata, focaccia, Fuji apples, and it's $4.99 each? That's a deal that's actually a meal. It's the new Mix and Match menu at Panera.
Alright, you ready to watch some more WandaVision? Sorry for going to sleep earlier. I was a very... Aww! Hello! Do you love your mom?